Hello, everyone. We're live.
Good morning!
Good morning.
Ayan na si
Morning,
Dean.
morning!
Hi, Dean. Good morning.
Good morning, Dean! Where have you been?
Sorry,
Ay, alam ko
guys.
na, nagbra yan.
Wait.
So, friends, family members, hello everyone! Ay, namiss ko gawin yun. Nandito na naman po tayo para sa isang bagong episode ng
Becky!
Bekititas! Hindi pa rin tayo sabay-sabay!
I know. Nag-froze na si Mama King, but
Oo
that's
nga.
fine.
Ay,
So,
grabe, ang
papakilala
bilis ng
muna
number one
tayo.
fan natin. Oo nga, pakilala muna tayo. So, I'm one of the Bekititas. I'm Chai.
I'm Jeff.
Si Keng na naka-freeze.
Hindi.
And this is Tony. Good morning.
Good morning!
Good
Ayan.
I think babalik na siya. Ganon talaga.
Ayan,
guys.
habang feeling ko may tumawag. So, this morning is a very special episode for Bekititas because we have a special guest.
Yes!
So our
Kaya in-introduce ka na namin.
Sorry.
In-introduce ka na namin.
welcome
I know
back
you
kay
don't
Keng na hindi na
fluctuate.
naka-freeze. So, as we were saying, this is a very special morning
Ay,
because we have a
yes.
very special guest. So, I'm very honored. Shit, ba't ako kinakabahan? To introduce our special guest. Kanina wala eh. Ngayon meron na. Okay. So, she's a former co-host of the Morning Rush. One of the Eve's podcast, a super mom, and former pambansang
Former.
kikili, Delamar Arias Ashby! Yay! Good morning!
Oh, hello. Good morning, guys.
Good evening!
Yeah, good morning. Oo, good morning sa inyo. Ganitong oras tulog na ako.
Oh my God.
Nakakagising
Thank
ko
you so
lang.
much.
Totoo.
Kasi pag gumising ako ng 6 o'clock, tuloy-tuloy yung trabaho ko hanggang matapos ang dinner, which is maybe around 8. And then I get to sit down. I'm so tired.
So, totoo yung
Oo.
super mom talaga.
I don't know. I don't even know what that means, like super mom. But I'm barely rising to the occasion of the demands of motherhood. But I try. I really try.
Yes.
Anyway, good morning. Sorry, magulo yung buhok ko. Ano ba to?
Maganda ka pa rin, di ba?
Uh-uh.
You're
Yeah.
beautiful as ever.
And what's good about your schedule tonight, you can also wine with us. Well, ikaw lang mag-wine.
Wow, ready ako.
Sorry, but I'm already drinking, and I know it looks like coffee, but it's not coffee. It's a little bit of vodka right there. That's vodka
my.
right there.
I love it.
I deserve it. Yun ang mga ano ko ngayon. I deserve this.
Yes.
Before we kick
After a
off
long day.
everything that we're going to be discussing, we want to introduce you, Del, first. Kasi si Keng, si Tony, si Dean, ako,
Oo nga,
kilala mo
no?
na. Si Jeff, hindi pa. So, Jeff is our Becky in the Bekititas.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi. Hello.
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 Jack is the richest.
How are you to
of
find
us.
out?
Charot.
Ganon.
How are you?
Ano tayo eh.
Si Jeff nakilala namin during quarantine and actually we started the podcast.
Oh, I
With
see.
him.
What do you mean? How do you meet people on quarantine?
I was on the
oh,
street and then they picked me up.
So wait a minute. Back up. So you're the type of guy who can be picked up? alam mo yung naglalakad sa sidewalk pero ang bagal tsaka walang purpose. Kasi pag may tumigil na kotse, hello. Ayun.
Hello. Pasakay. Ganun. Pa-join.
Or, Manong,
Or yung gumaganon.
saan ang punta nyo?
Actually, Del, it's very surprising because during lockdown, all of us are actually, you know, naman, all of the people around the world during lockdown is trying to get something that they'd be busy on. So turned out we have a common interest, which is singing, and these girls are really great singers. So we found
Lahat talaga kami. Lahat talaga kami, Jeff. Lahat talaga.
yes. Mhm.
Talaga, kasama si Dean dyan.
Yes.
Sila lang actually. Yung kanta walang hilig sa amin.
Ayun, so we were singing in this app, in a mobile app, and then nung kami nagkakakilala, and then eventually, nung nag-MGCQ, believe it or not, nagkaroon na ng album si Mama King sa Spotify.
Uy,
O, diba?
yeah.
You know,
Look her up.
No, that's the you know, COVID is COVID and it's hard and it's, you know, brought the world to its knees. But the truth is there's a lot of gift that COVID has given us. Because nothing bad is always just bad. Meron siyang something, diba? And now that yung pala lahat kayo kumakanta at may pa-album pa si Mama King.
Correct. Tumatango-tango siya, oh. Ano, King? Lag? Naglalag?
Frozen ulit.
Jeff, ayaw lang niya magsalita, pero Jeff actually is the first person who had a cover album sa Spotify.
Oh my gosh.
Naman, matagal na yun. That was 2017.
How do you even do that? I mean, do you pay for royalties? How do you get studio?
I have my own record label, so I have talent. So nainggit ako. I'm just producing albums for my talents. Teka lang, gagawa ko ng song for myself and upload myself on Spotify. That's it.
Oo nga naman, diba?
And now it's on Amazon, iTunes, Google, yun.
Oh, wow.
Saka biritera yan,
Oh my gosh,
No?
you guys.
Hindi sila putyo-putyong singers, as in.
Silang dalawa lang. King at saka si Jeff lang.
Tapos
Hindi po kami kasama doon.
Tapos we were able to do a fundraiser.
Yes.
Tapos we were able to raise more than
Nag-freeze na siya.
20,000
Sandali, nasabik ako dun sa tunog ng manok. Sandali.
Namiss mo ba?
Oh, there! Ayan!
Kasi Jeff yung tumitila
Jeff yan,
ng manok.
Pero malapit naman ako.
Wala akong manok dito.
But you do have you know.
Yeah, right.
You know, right? Okay. Okay.
So, for today, we have prepared questions, pero in between questions, we have some games. We've also done this with Gino, and we've also done a lot of it with everyone. But
With each
you
other.
can just... Sorry. Oo, ganon. Actually, pinagkalat ko na rin yan sa office. So, it's just, you're going to go to a browser, jackbox.tv, tapos enter the code, and then also the audience can join, and meron ding audience mode.
Wait,
Pero
do I
mas
have
magaling mag-explain
Wait.
si Shai.
do I have to go on it too?
Yes.
Yes, so that you can also play with us.
Ah, I see.
You
Okay.
can do it sa phone. You can do it on your phone if
Okay. Okay. All right.
Pero later siya,
Yep.
Okay.
we will play those games in between questions.
The heated questions that you have prepared.
Yeah.
Question
In
number
between
72.
questions.
Question number
So,
1.
who's going to start?
Si Keng. Natameme na si Keng. Keng,
Am I no longer frozen?
you're no longer frozen, darling.
Hindi na high.
Hindi ka na.
Hindi ka na frozen.
First question, Keng. Go.
Okay, first question. Was it Del? Was it challenging for you starting off again in Utah? I mean, you moved. The move, was it challenging adjusting to life in Utah?
I think anywhere you go away from your original place of, where you feel most confident, it's very hard. Ewan ko, but I really had a really hard time. I really had a hard time. I'm still having a hard time. um, I don't have as many friends as I would like to. Most of my friends are there in Manila. And I mean, of course, I know my friends love me. They care about me. Ang hirap lang kasi talaga ng time zone.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
Oo, mahirap siya. I mean, at saka yung feeling ko, iba yung reality ko sa reality ng all my friends. And then, I can't really say, la 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 la. Iba na eh. It seems
Mm-mm.
different. So that part is hard. But everything else, alam mo, I was thinking about this the other day, and my mom, I was raised by a woman who thought that life had to be endured. I was not raised thinking that life would be happy. You have to endure. Pain is part of it, mga ganon. So, hindi ako natakot dun sa challenge. Pero masakit siya. May mga lost moments ka. You don't know who you are here because, well, nobody knows who you are. That's one. And you don't have a lot of people who kind of mirror who you are. So it feels like you're fighting for every inch of yourself here. Yan, that's what I would say.
You mentioned earlier yung sa friends. Um, and we know na your tribe, your inner circle, nandito sila sa Pinas. Um, did you So ibig sabihin wala pang parang equivalent nila na nandyan sa'yo.
Wala eh, wala. Tsaka, well, I've only been here a year and almost a year and a month. Because, I don't know, a year and 2 months almost. So, wala pa talaga. It's hard. It's funny because we grew up with American TV shows, American movies, American books. We speak English. And you would think that if you come here, it would be all so easy. It's so not. It's just not. And a lot of it is because you don't know, like halimbawa sa Pilipinas, pag may nakita ko si Dean. Alam ko by just the way she looks, the way she acts, I can interpret most of how she feels. And then I can start to talk to her in a way that is feeling ko, kaya ko siyang abutin, i-connect, diba? But here, I hardly know what people mean. So they're gonna be like, "Hi, how you doing?" So ikaw naman, I'm doing okay. I just transferred here last year. But they don't really want conversation. It's just how they do it here. So when somebody comes up to
Yeah.
you, "Hi, how are you?" You're just gonna say, "I'm good. How are you?" And then it ends there. Do not go deeper because you're gonna look crazy.
Oo.
Para kang sabik sa tao, ganon.
Mm.
Kaya masaya mag-podcast and mag-guest-guest.
Oo, masaya siya. What's that I'm hearing? Is that me?
No,
I could hear
I don't-
something. Sorry. I could hear akala ko ako. Sabi ko anong nangyayari? Okay.
Di naman.
Mukhang hindi.
So was that the most challenging aspect of the adjustment for you, or if it wasn't, what proved to be the most challenging? Is it just the connection with people?
I think it's two things. One is connection with people outside of Tyler. Because, I mean, I love my husband, but, in Manila, the pressure on him to understand me wasn't that high because I had friends. I had my job. I could go to the mall. I could do a lot of things, right, to take care of myself. Pero dito, parang mas malaki yung pressure na maintindihan niya ako pag I'm feeling low kasi he's the only one I can lean on, right? But the second one I would say is it's really establishing who you are now. And parang zero. I went from 100 to a 0. And then since I got here, I've been trying to get half an inch, a quarter of an inch, a millimeter, a centimeter. On a good day, I'll probably get 2 inches. Alam mo yun, parang you're trying to get who you are. And you only know that by how you live in this new environment. Diba? So, yun yung pinaka mahirap sa akin. Connection. Tsaka conversation. I love conversation and I haven't got a lot of it. I'm only talking to myself. Oo, a lot of times. And you can see my lips moving. Sabik sa kausap. Ganon.
Pero that helps, no, for your well, hindi ba parang as always introspective ka naman din. And that's why you also have this fully thought of developed thought process. Tapos kapag nilalabas mo sila, they don't sound
Crazy.
stupid.
Crazy. Well, I don't know. I sound stupid sometimes, but I am kind of introspective, and I am that kind of person who has a very robust inner monologue in my head. So I'm talking about many things in my head. So yeah, and it helps me sort out my feelings. It helps me sort out how I want to deal with the difficult things. Kasi iniisip ko siya, okay, mali yun. Hindi tama yung approach ko kanina. Okay, paano ko yung ganon? Yeah, I guess it helps because I'm my own best friend here right now.
True. Parang kami din ngayon, naka-lockdown.
Yeah! Wait, second week na ba? Di ba dapat 2 weeks ang yan?
Yes.
Mm-mm.
It's
Today
on
is
its
supposed to be
second.
the
Dapat
last
tapos
day.
na.
No,
Last
ano,
day.
18 ang last day.
Ha?
Pero parang wala namang
18.
bago.
Parang walang bago.
Marami lang bagong
Ganun pa
cases.
rin. I haven't left the house since
Oh my gosh, naluloka ako dun sa numbers ha. Nakakakaba.
Philippines, number 1.
Number
Aren't you proud?
1. At least number 1 tayo.
Proud? Oh my God!
Hindi
na
naman
masaya.
tabata ng Pilipinas eh.
True. Pa-commercial. Hi kay Neil Kagumbay. Hi Niru, Ernest, and Kimi Kimi Mar.
Oh my gosh,
Good morning.
Ernest! Ernest is in, if I'm not mistaken, he's in North Carolina. Hi, Ernest. Oo, dito siya
And
eh.
Ike's. Hello.
Call Me Ike's is also saying hello, Delamama.
call me Anne.
Good morning, good
Hi.
evening.
Hello, how
Call
are
me-
you?
We know them more on their Twitter handles than their Facebook.
Oo nga eh.
Totoo.
Oo nga, no?
So,
Diba,
having
diba?
been in the US, Del, for a year and a month, what's the thing that you love about US? About living there?
That, in as much as mahirap kasi ikaw lahat gagawa dito, it's all there. If you want to get into carpentry, it's all there. You want to get into arts and crafts, it's all there. You want to get into baking, it's all there. Meaning to say, kasi di ba sa atin, pagka may kailangan kang pagawa, ayaw mo nang isipin eh. Oh, tumawag kayo ng tubero. Nun. Diba? Oh, tumawag kayo ng ganyan. Somebody else will do it
talaga.
for you. Hindi kasi dito, dalawang beses na kasi ako nag-clog ng sink. Yan ang aking parang feeling ko pitfall ko.
Sorry, natawa ko kasi 'di ba sa Philippines, it's a euphemism for
Something else.
To borrow.
calling ito ba?
Yeah, but really, it's so easy to do things here. You just have to do it yourself. Tsaka yung natutuwa ako kasi right. Pero natatawa ako kasi yung all of those recipes that I've been wanting to do. My gosh, ang dali dito kasi
Uy, ang galing mo nga eh.
alam mo yung berries na sa atin parang 500 ang 200 yan. Siyempre dito, oh my gosh, diba? So ang saya.
Sagana.
You've got food.
Pati gardening, ang laki. Ang laki ng garden nyo.
Ayusin mo.
Sorry.
Actually, hindi siya garden eh. Hindi pa yun yung garden. Ano yun eh?
Landscaping lang.
Hindi, ano yan. Paano ba dito? Okay, so in the US, yung street, di ba dyan sa atin may kalsada? Sila, kalsada, tapos parang may parking strip which is usually made of grass, and then a pedestrian lane, and then your front lawn. So parang ganun siya. So yung ginawa namin, nasa labas lang yon, nasa periphery lang nung bahay. So I still have a backyard na kailangan namin gawin. Matrabaho siya eh. Matrabaho siya. Oo, gumigising ako ng 6 o'clock kasi nagdidilig ako every day, man. Every day!
Wow.
Akalain mo yun, meron ka palang green thumb. And also
Wow,
the
grabe.
kids. Parang ang ligayang maglakad-lakad
Ang tawag nila
barefoot.
dito,
Barefoot!
plantita.
Barefoot. Mm-mm.
Actually, if it's 9:17, kasi if we were earlier, I would have taken
Tour?
this StreamYard outside. Kasi dun sa namin may bench kami. Gumawa kami ng bench na parang pwede ka umupo. Parang ganun. Oo, para makita niyo naman mountains. The mountains.
May view kayo ng mountains sa bahay ninyo?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Wow!
That's nice.
Sandali.
Nagpa-house
Sige.
tour si Del. Parang ang haba ng house tour.
Ha? Hindi, sandali. Tignan natin.
Ayan, may house tour na
Sandali,
tayo.
hindi naman house tour. Titignan ko lang kung maliwanag pa sa labas kasi kung maliwanag pa, makikita nyo yung, makikita,
Punta tayo ng charot.
ano no? Ano? Si Tyler, ay hindi,
Tinur
ano
tayo
yun?
ni Delamar sa Utah. Ganun.
Ayaw mag-ano ni Tyler, ayaw niyan mag-guesting. Sandali, let's see. Ay, madilim na. Oo, hinihingal na si Mami. Oo, sandali.
Parang nag-hike ka lang ulit.
Oo nga.
Ay, madilim na eh. Madilim. Yes, hi baby girl. Hold on.
Para tayo nasa
Oo, ay wala talaga eh.
Hindi
But you can
nice.
see that, you see that behind the lights, parang may blue and then black.
Yeah.
That black
Yes.
thing.
Yeah.
So that's the mountain.
So siya.
Nice, may mountain.
Oo, ano
Hi,
siya?
princess.
Rainy is
Jaya, guys, can you say hi to them? Say hi.
Hi, Jaya!
Jaya, hello! Good morning.
Say hi, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Chai.
Hi, Chai.
Hi, Kang.
Hi, King.
Hi, Tony.
Hi, Tony.
Hi,
Hi,
Jaya!
Dean.
Hi, Lee.
They're saying hi to you. You can't hear them because I'm wearing earphones.
You're so cute, baby girl!
They saying you're so cute, baby girl.
Yes.
Yes, hindi siya shy.
Go, girl! Ganyan
Okay.
dapat.
Sige
Own
na.
it.
Okay, you go watch with your brothers. Mama still has to work, okay?
nakakaingit. Puro boys
Oo.
yung
May
mga anak.
special participation.
Oo, may mga, sabi niya, I know. May confidence yung bata. Buti na lang, di naman
Correct.
hindi mana sa nanay niya.
Hi,
Na?
Precious!
Yeah, but she's so, she tries to make an appearance every time I'm doing something. Ano yan? Mag-ano siya.
Akalain mo yun hanggang ngayon naglalakad pa rin si Del.
Oo.
Ayun, doon mo talaga
Babalik lang muna po. Babalik lang ako. Hindi, alam mo, can I just tell you guys? So Tyler got me a Fitbit for
Oh,
health.
yeah.
I kid you not, I do something like 11 to 12,000 steps.
Wow.
Whoa.
Wait, that's just within the house if I don't leave. Pero, minsan,
Ganyan.
umaabot ako ng 18,000, 19,000. One time, nag-2021.
Wow.
Oo! Yeah, so,
21K na yun, actually.
kaya mo siya. And then if you walk here, kasi, people here, they like outdoors. Utah is known for its great outdoors. So we have the hiking trails are here. You want to go camping. Of course, in the winter, Utah is known to have the best kind of snow. Yeah, yung Winter Olympics dito ginawa eh. Kasi yung snow dito, powder. It's like good for skiing. You know why that is? Kasi walang humidity sa Utah. Ang dry ng air. Kaya rin yung mga mukha nila parang leather.
Grabe.
Oo, kaya natatakot ako. Alam niyo ginagamit ko sa mukha ko ngayon?
Oh.
On top of
Matigas.
everything else, no. Vaseline. Petroleum
Vaseline.
jelly.
Ay,
Seryoso.
grabe.
Oo, kasi ganun
Does
siya
it help?
ka-dry.
Maximum hydration.
Yeah.
Ang lagkit nun.
So, pero
Oo.
even then, so after I take a shower, nag-ano ako, may serum, ganyan-ganyan. Tapos, Vaseline. Tapos, ang kinang ng mukha ko, di ba? Tapos, ipapat ko lang siya bago ako matulog. Pero, you have to, kasi otherwise, you have no idea how dry. It's so dry here. Grabe.
Grabe pala yung extra skincare. Kasi you always look so
Yeah.
blooming sa videos, tsaka sa pictures, sa lives,
Oo.
sa mga podcast. Grabe petroleum jelly. Oh my God.
Hindi, ano lang yun,
Uy,
pampasoften.
totoo.
Pampasoften lang ng skin. Oo. And then, kasi ang galing talaga, I had no idea na ang swerte natin sa Philippines. Kahit di ka
Oiliness.
mag-lotion, oiliness is next to godliness.
Yes. Totoo pala siya.
True.
Totoo siya. Oo, kasi pag nakita mo yung mga balat ng mga tao dito, parang leather talaga. Alam mo yung belt where you put yung tusok?
Yung hook, yes.
Oo, di ba
Oh
yung
my God.
yung part na yon, di ba puro folds? Tapos parang may ganun ang face nila.
Kaya pala Americans look older than us.
Mm-mm.
Asians.
Oo.
Well, yeah, some of it is genetics. The others would be, the weather talaga. The weather. Mm-mm.
Extra skincare.
Yes. Iba nga yung
It's a must.
Oo.
Ayan,
Skincare
101
101
daw.
daw.
Ay! Hindi ako dapat hindi ako dapat ang ano tawag dito? Ang source speaker sa ganyan. Dapat yung mga magaganda ang balat.
Si Fran.
Oo, si Fran Black.
Yan, oo.
Actually, silang tatlo. Si Jude, walang pores yata yun eh.
Oo.
Oo, seryoso. Tapos
Yung kay
mabibilang.
Jude, genetics yata, so parang mahirap yun.
Oh, pero si Jelly din eh. Parang sila eh.
Yeah.
Para, silang tatlo, wala kang makitang pores. Parang glass skin nga. Glass skin talaga. Oo.
Wow.
Ako lang yung peasant skin.
Hi! O, di ba may guesting din si Keng?
Oh my gosh.
That's my bunso.
Oo.
Si Joseph. Ayan, ito. Naghahanap
Hi.
ng charger at naglalaro ng Hindi ba nagpapagupit? Sabi ko sa kanya, baka pa ng member ng details.
Oo nga.
Sabi ni Dwayne, very
Haba
nostalgic daw ang marinig ang boses model.
Oo nga, I often hear that from people pag kayong biglang nagsalita or something. I forget like on Instagram and then I post something. Yun ang sinasabi nila, nakakamiss yung boses mo. Sabi ko, ay, ganon?
Hindi ba kayo nakikinig ng podcast, Char?
Hindi daw. Masyado daw, masyado daw magmurahan yung mga babae doon.
Hindi, Real
Hindi
talk
kaya,
lang.
it's so
Yes.
refreshing. Kasi pag naririnig
Pero
namin kayo sa
nakakatawa.
radio before, pigil na pigil
Yes,
kayo.
yung
You can't
internet
say
ko.
it, ganyan. Pero, yun din yung na-miss na, si Gino nga, dami
Oo.
sinabi ng guesting.
Ayan na si PI. Ayan na si
Yeah,
PI, yung
Speaking of
nag-request.
bad words, hi PI!
May pangarap
Ay, nako.
namin yan na a long time ago nung nagsistart pa lang si Eve's podcast, parang sabi namin, parang masaya yung mga ginagawa nila, no? Tapos nagwa-wine night kami. We tried to do the 100 questions, pero kasi parang madaming audience sa paligid. Unwanted audience. So, hindi siya natuloy. Pero part of it, Din still keeps some part of the recording of that chikahan hanggang sa naging, ayan na siya, podcast. Parang bilang madami din naman tayong kuda.
Yeah.
Let's podcast
Actually,
everything.
yeah, one of the main inspirations why we came up with our podcast was eavesdrop.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Even you, Jeff, do you listen to the eavesdrop?
Yes,
What's
I did.
Oo. Talagang pinot on the spot. You, Jeff, do you listen to the... Wala siyang choice. Kailangan niya sabihin.
Bawal ka mag-no.
bawal
You
mag-no.
share it with them.
Hindi naman.
We
Okay,
shared it,
okay.
yeah, we did.
Hindi, okay lang sa akin yun. Ano na?
We share to all. Pag nasa pag may bago, ayan na. Oh.
Oo.
Pag may maganda, ayan, may
Mm-mm.
bago. May bago silang episode, ganyan.
Pag may maganda.
Yes! I love it!
Parang gumagana na yung vodka kasi yung confidence level ko tumataas eh.
Tumataas na.
Ganun yan eh. Oo. Pag clean ang blood ko, walang confidence. Okay.
Medyo ano.
Tanghalin
Ay,
pa
sabi ni
dito,
PR.
kaya hindi ko namin masabayan sa
I wish. I really wish. Because
Oh,
conversations
nag-teach na naman
tend to
ako,
get
no?
really interesting.
Better.
Yeah.
It's like
I
12
was so-
hapon and it's so hot and then we're taking in alcohol. My God.
I was supposed to do
Sabayan ko
day
si Del.
drinking.
Ayan, no.
I was supposed to do day drinking while you're there, while you're here, Del. Kaso, hindi pa ako kumakain. Kasi
Ay,
for my
nako.
shift.
Mas
For my
maganda
shift
yun.
kasi-
Oo, para
mabilis.
mabilis ang tama. Eh di, ang ganda ng podcast.
Oo. Ayan, ubus na.
Hindi, but ano, Yakult ginamit mo?
With it.
With, ano yan? What is it? Bacardi? What is it?
Jameson.
Jameson.
Have you tried, soju and Yakult?
Mm-mm.
I did.
Yes.
Ang sarap.
Ang sarap.
Soju and melona. Ang sarap.
Oh
It's
my
so
gosh, ang
creamy.
sarap. Ano ba yun? Bakit ganun?
Shay, hi! O, diba?
Hi, Shay
Rushers
Shay.
and Eve
Hi, Shay Shay.
podcaster. True story. Char.
Sorry, ang cute naman. Cute talaga.
Yung binibilhan ko ng ube cheese pandesal. Supplier ko na siya before, tapos eventually naging pala siya. Rusher din pala siya turned Eve's podcaster. Tapos every time na may bagong Eve's podcast, sasabihin niya na, uy, may blah 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 blah, parang pinag-uusapan, uy, sabi ni Del blah 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 blah. So parang hindi lang nagre-revolve sa ube cheese pandesal, cookies, cakes ang aming usapan.
Oo,
Pati
lumalawa.
podcast.
Alam mo,
Ayun.
yung linchok na ube cheese pandesal na yan, walang kwenta. I see it on Instagram. Like, I don't know. Hindi, ganito nga. So, gusto kong gumawa kasi may nagpadala sa eavesdrop. Pero syempre, asa Utah ako, di ba? So, nakita ko naman to si Ernest. Nakikinig si Ernest, di ba? Ernest
South
puts-
Carolina daw siya.
Oo, South pala. Sorry. South Carolina. He had made ube cheese pandesal. So, ang gusto kong tanongin sa kanya, saan ka kumuha ng ube? Saan ka
Meron ba
kumuha
dyan?
Meron yan, I'm sure. Oo.
Mahirap hanapin.
Oo,
Dayain
yan.
ng food coloring. Pwede ba yun?
Eh, di ba may
Meron
lasa?
ngayon na McCormick
Kung yung
na
lasa
flavor
ng
na
ube mawawala Oo.
Bagoy.
Diba?
Oh, wait.
Meron-
McCormick
Meron-
has it?
Although sa local
Yes.
ako nakakita.
Oh?
Ube?
Pero I think
Ube extra?
dito sa
Pag-google ako niyan.
Pilipinas, I'm not sure with the US kung merong available doon na ube flavoring. Pero may nakita akong supplier dito na ube flavoring.
Oh, wow.
Ayun, sabi ni Ernest, sa Asian
Sa
store
Asian
daw.
store. Oo, yan na nga eh. Yung Asian store na yan. Nako, mauubos ang pera mo.
Ba yan
Mahal? Super
Mahal?
Ay,
Hindi.
talaga?
Doon mo nilalabas yung pagkamis mo sa Pilipinas.
Mapapag-grocery ka ng di oras talaga.
Mapapabili ka ng
Oo, nung una ko, nung una ko,
Baboy bawang, gano'n.
ha?
Lahat ng mga nakagarapon, nakapouch, and all.
Pero
Kalamansi,
ube powder
ganun.
gamit ko sa
Oo.
ube extract. Meron sa Asian store.
Ay, nako, Ernest. Pupunta ako bukas. Ay, ganun talaga. Oo. Hindi, pero mahirap kasi I don't have I technically shouldn't be driving here because I don't have a driver's license yet.
Yeah, technically,
You gotta live a little, break the law once in a while. I'm kidding.
Pero you drive the kids to school. You rebel you.
Yeah, I know. No, I could drive here until, kasi dumating ako December 22. So hanggang June, pwede ako 6 months after arrival, you can still drive. But now, it's been, August na, so kailangan ko kailangan ko mag-aral.
Quarantine po. Cannot take exam. Cannot go out.
Correct. May presyuhan na rin binibigay si Ernest,
Ayan na
Ube
daw.
powder, $3.99.
$3.99.
Ube extract, $1.89. Padala daw niya recipe sa Algin.
friend!
Ayan, ayan.
Hindi si Ernest, grabe. Meron siyang post nung isang araw. 2 weeks ago, lumpia. Diyos ko, minumura ko siya.
Oh.
Minumura ko siya like, na tong batang to. Harap ng ulam. Ganon. Kasi, hindi, namimiss ko yan yung turon, chat time.
Turon.
Oo,
Chat time.
turon. Diyos ko, turon. Nakakamiss. And then, ano pa daw dito? Yung mga mendokoro, nakakamiss. Ay.
Oh, meron na sila ngayong take-out.
Oo. Yeah. They have to
Dati,
if they
diba,
want to
they never
survive.
wanted to take out their ramen.
Oo.
Pero
Oo.
now, ayan.
Oo.
Kasi pag
Pwede
ginawa
naman
nila
pala.
yun, if they stick to because if they stuck to the rules before, their business will close down. They will not survive. Oo,
Right.
hindi kaya eh. Mm-mm.
And
Well, most ng mga
nag-sold out pa rin siya,
establishments,
diba?
Most ng establishments,
Agudi.
they transferred to delivery na. Dahil
Yeah.
bawal ang dine-in.
Oo. Tsaka pickup, right? Curbside pickup
Yes.
tawag dito.
Yep.
Oo.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
so social, curbside pickup.
They've got, here, they've got their own language and you gotta stand. Sabi ko, mayroon na ba akong worsh? Gusto ko na ng worsh. Oo, sabi ko, sana nabibili yung worsh sa Asian store. Kasi, Miss, can I have the worsh? Good for 2 years. Like, I really...
2 years.
2 years? Like, I really want to talk like an American. Pero hindi sila ganun magsalita sa Utah. That's more of California, I think. Anyway. Oo. Alam mo, kinakabahan ako sa mga questions nyo, kaya ganito ako eh. I'm trying to brace myself.
Tayo naman sila eh. Tayo naman yung question.
Oo, walang Kasi yung iba,
Walang masyadong
narinig na
controversial.
namin.
Si PI may sinasabi,
Ano sabi ni
ikaw,
PA?
Go.
camel daw ang magdadala ng delivery.
Nasa UAE kasi siya.
Nasa Dubai kasi By the way, to all the UAE rushers, my gosh, sorry talaga. I was supposed to
Yes.
record myself, but we were out of town. So we were in Brighton and medyo weird yung internet and wala, talagang I was working harder than ever because we were out, we were hiking every day, swimming in the afternoon, early evening. So wala. Sorry. So anyway, to all the UAE rushers, happy 4th anniversary. Yay!
Happy anniversary!
Anniversary!
Ang saya lagi ng anniversary nila.
Pag-miss na magkakasama.
Daming food at pa-games.
Oo. Party
Baka
talaga.
PI.
No? Oo, pakananbigay.
Yan ang namimiss ko sa mga rushers. Iba sila mag-network and then once they get connected through the show, parang they just splinter and then just together. Yung Singapore rushers. Exactly. Totoo yun. Oo. Tapos yung, I don't know, this was mga late, ano ba to? Hindi, people from the beginning, from mid-90s. The Sleazy Bunch. Ayan, magkakasama pa yan.
SATC.
Oh my gosh. Tapos
SSB.
sila Perk. Sila Perk. Yan, magkakasama. So, once
Sina
you get,
Oski.
diba, once you get connected on the morning rush, parang you become friends for life.
Kami.
Friends for
Friends for life.
Kami hanggang ngayon.
Ay, friends for life.
Ay, friends for life.
Ay, ko yan
Wala, naglaloka na tayo dito.
with you, I get by. With you, I can touch the sky. Anyway.
Oh my God. Meron pa kayong mga recording at I'm sure pating iba meron ding cassette. Tsaka yung mga hinanap pa sa Cubao X. Naalala ko si Oski.
Oo nga.
Parang may nakita nga ako sa Facebook, pina-beat yung
Pina-auction niya.
I saw that.
Pina-auction niya.
Magkano pinabot?
800 ba? 800?
No.
Tama ba?
Oh, hi Ate Del daw. Athena
Umabot
Montero.
1,000, 3,000 yata.
Umabot ng 3,000 mahigit.
Huy, may
Ang
10%
talaga?
ako niyan!
Royalties?
It was Coco Hernandez who got the final bid. But what he did, and si Mayo ba yung nagpa-auction nun? Si Mayo
Hindi ko
yata.
I
maalala.
can't
Hindi ko
remember.
maalala kung sino yung nagpa-auction. Pero parang ang sinuggest na lang is to donate it to a charity. So Coco
Oh,
donated it
that
to
I
the
get now.
charity na beneficiary natin for Awit at Damdamin. He donated it to
Oh,
Young Feminists Collective.
wow. How
Ah.
nice.
Ah.
Ang
Good job.
galing.
That
Yeah.
was the concert we did during lockdown. So it was in June.
Oo.
We gathered
Mm-mm.
around 30 local talents para mag-perform online. Ang dami na nabudol, di ba? Maano
Uy,
pa yun, may
20,
mga local
oo.
artists din.
May ano pa
Oo.
yun 20,000 pesos in cash and something something in donation. In kind.
Mm-mm.
Oh, wow.
Nakakatuwa. Nakakataba ng
Whoa.
puso.
Uh,
Tapos volunteer. Hindi naman volunteer, pero benefit concert kasi siya. Siyempre,
Oo.
thank you.
oh,
Ganun.
wow.
Pro bono lahat ng artists.
Ayun. That's
Ang
the right term.
galing. Ang galing. Oo.
Pero Del, it took 3 months for the entire project to actually come into, a reality.
Yeah.
Kasi syempre,
Oo.
finale, March, April, May, so we did it
Yeah.
June. Hirap din maghanap ng talents, ha?
Oo.
And we were not too familiar with the logistics of holding an online event kasi mga experiences namin is usually live
Oh,
So that's why it took a while for us to really put it up.
ayan na, may may
Ayun na,
na-DM.
may pa-DM na daw.
Oh,
Tapos,
come on.
Hi,
Okay.
Cooper!
Well, just say hi to
Cooper
them,
ba yun?
please. Yeah.
Cooper!
Cooper, say, okay. Say hi.
hi,
Dinner.
Cooper!
Ayan na, si Parker. Parker, say hello, everybody.
Ang saya naman, may baby sighting.
Alam mo, itong anak ko,
Kompleto.
ito. Hindi, nag-goodbye na eh. Ay, nag-good night na.
Oh,
Good
that's
night.
Goodbye? Ay, ano mangyayari sa akin? Ay, bye. Bye. Bye, baby girl. Kiss, mama.
Hi, Jaya.
I love
Bye,
you.
Jaya!
Hi,
Adorable.
Jaya. Good night, babies!
Oo, the babies are going to sleep. Sabi ni,
Hanggang oras sila pwedeng magstay up late.
ang weird kasi, normally, even in Manila, 8 o'clock tulog na yung mga yan. They're in bed. But somewhere in Utah, mga 9 o'clock pa lang dumidilim. So kung isasend mo sila to sleep at 8, it's really weird. It's hard to
At
go
saka
to
ang liwanag pa.
That's what I mean. Parang, wait, what? I'm gonna go to bed. So the kids here pala, in the summer, they don't sleep until mga 11. Basta bumaba na yung araw. Kasi it's so unnerving. As in, 5 o'clock dito, parang 3:00 ng hapon. Ganon. Ganon katindi yung init. Oo. So, pero natuto na sila. Kukwento ko lang, ibibida ko lang. So, nakahanap ako ng recipe na, I'm always looking for recipes to kumbaga, to include in my sequence of dishes every day. So I saw something online. So sabi ko kay Parker, come here. Do you think this is gonna be good? Do you think you'll want to eat this? Do you think Dad will want to eat this? So sabi niya, oh my God. So nanood kami, about 47 seconds. Sabi niya, my God, Mom, that's an explosion of flavor.
Wow! Vocabulary!
Oh my God!
Wow.
As in, I was like, what happened? Who told you these things?
Yeah.
Do you have a writer? Because if you do, I want to hire him or her. Oo. Ano siya, nakakatawa siyang tao. Nakakatawa siya. Halimbawa, nag-hike kami. So, usually hikes are a couple of miles. So one mile is 1.8 kilometers. So
Uy, miles ka na ngayon, dati kilometers.
I know
it.
So they don't want to give you Anyway, so we were
Metrics.
So we would hike and then ang elevation mga 3,000 feet high.
Wow.
Yes, ganun siya. So it's really hard. So narinig ko si Parker, sabi niya so he was walking ahead and then he was kind of like punching his legs, and then he went something like, "Come on, legs, don't fail me now." Oh my God!
We're so
As in, para siyang cartoon character.
Para siyang may SNL writer na
Yes.
sumusulat ng lines
Oy.
niya.
Oo, yan ang feeling ko. Grabe. Hi, Elka Quintana. Sabi niya, big boy na si Cooper, may binata ka na daw. Si Elka,
Ready ka
Elka
na ba?
Quintana. Ha? Na
Ay,
binata?
Ready ka na ba? Oo.
Ready ka na ba na may binata ka?
Alam mo, I've always felt like he wasn't a kid.
The chicken.
He's an old soul, no?
Iba
Kahit
siya eh.
primitive lang
Oo,
siya.
even before. Iba siya mag-isip. So, minsan, even my mother-in-law, yun yung sinabi niya sa akin. Sabi niya, one time, magkasama sila ni Cooper, tapos, they were conversing, and then sabi niya sa sarili niya, Luann, you're talking to a 7-year-old child. You really, when you start a conversation with him, you'll know that he's a kid at the beginning. But then once the conversation starts going, minsan iiwanan ka niya eh. He'll leave you in the dust. Sa logic niya ha, yung mga nako-connect niya, whatever. Sabi ko, anak, parang may sapi ka ng alien. So I don't feel like may binata na ako kasi pero halos magka-height na kami eh.
Ang laki na ni Cooper, kakamis.
Oo.
I know. I know kayo, 'di ba? Kayo ni Jay.
Yeah.
Oo.
Binubuhat-buhat pa namin siya eh.
May pa-pirate pa kami dun sa likod.
Oo.
Dami naming games. Hindi kami nakikinig sa show.
Alam namin si Cooper.
Sila talaga yung goal.
Ay, sabi ko na, alam mo, meron pa noon, uy, bisita kami sa'yo, Del. Ako daw bibisitahin niya, mga anak ko binibisita niya.
Well, actually.
No.
Kaya pansin mo,
I know.
Del, kapag kasi Cooper nasa booth nun, wala kami halos entries.
Oo.
Hindi kami yung nakakapasok sa top 10.
Oo.
Kasi wala talaga. Walang effort. Ando, nakikipaglaro sa likod.
Ay.
Good days.
So,
Ah.
Del,
Ano ba ng Tagalog si Cooper?
I try. Si Cooper medyo hindi eh. I don't know. Sometimes he does. Pero si Parker, nung minsan, sinhalikan ko siya sa ulo. Sabi ko, anak, ang bango-bango-bango ng ulo mo. Tapos tinignan ko siya, do you understand what mom said? Tapos tinignan niya ako. Tapos na-shy siya. You're saying my head smells good?
Oh, nag-gets niya!
hindi siya. That's good.
Oo. Tapos si Harper, mahilig siya, utot. Mama! Sabi niya sa akin, Mama, I'm utot.
Yun yung masaya, yun yung talaga yung masaya unang aralin, di ba? Pag languages.
Oo,
Yung
bad
mga
words.
Bad words.
Bad words.
Yes.
Of course. Kinakabahan ako sa mga questions. Bilisan niyo na para matapos na yung
Ito na.
sabi yung build up. Ang
Ang dami
taas ang
chinka
tagal.
eh.
Wala nga, we were diverting. Walang pumapasok na questions.
Okay, very good, very good.
What has being a stay-at-home mom done for your relationship with your kids and with Tyler?
I think with the kids, kasi yun yung alam ko eh, na I just knew that I wanted to be emotionally connected with my children. Kasi feeling ko ito yung mga taon na kailangan you build the foundation of communication, of telling them how important they are. All of these things, the conversations, the taking care of them and all that. I like that they only Cooper understands that I used to work.
Right.
And it's a good thing to feel, but in the same way it's also a sad thing, especially for her Harper, kasi gusto ko malaman niya na you've got a choice. I mean, you don't have to be, that's what I always tell them, when you grow up and you choose to have a family. Kasi feeling ko, it shouldn't be something that we're all going to do eventually in our lives. It has to be something that you really want, because raising children is very hard. It's emotionally draining. It's financially draining, and
True.
it's so hard. It's so constant. Like, gusto mo na mag-give up, pero kahit na you're in the house, you're outside of the house, it doesn't matter because your heart seems to be with them anyways, right?
Mhm.
Um,
Yes.
so I think they like that I'm always around. They don't understand me working. Um, that's also a thing I want to give my children because I remember as a kid, I loved that my mom was always around until a certain age. As soon as she hit 40, which was maybe I was 5 years old, ayun na, she started working. That's hard. Waking up after an afternoon nap, uh, and then finding, alam mo mahirap gumising ng tanghali, 'di ba? Usually,
Mm.
ano, parang anong tawag dito, yung nababagot ka or you're super cranky, right?
Right.
But if your mom's there, you kind of have what do you call it? A rudder.
Structure.
Somebody who can just say, okay, settle down. What's happening? Like, madalas yan. Masama si Parker kasi Parker's moody, mercurial yan eh. So, sabi ko lang
Mm.
pag iiyak siya yung iyak na parang gumuho ang mundo. I know that because I used to wake up with feelings like that. So, I will just tell him, what's wrong? And then he can't even talk. So, sasabihin ko sa kanya, okay, calm down. Okay, are you hurt? Napapaisip siya. No. Are you bleeding? No. Are any of your bones broken? No. Okay, so we know you're not physically hurt. I'm here. Nothing has changed. You just slept. So take 2 minutes on the couch and gather yourself. It's okay. Everybody wakes up like that sometimes. And then when you're okay, I'll just be in the kitchen and you come to me. And I really feel that's important. I mean, it sounds like it's nothing. Like, ano ba? Diba? Tumigil ka nga. Most of the grown-ups, when we were growing up, they were ganon, tumigil ka ha, marami akong gagawin. But I think what I'm trying to tell my children is that there are feelings that are hard to deal with. I think thoughts are easier to deal with. Feelings, no fucking way. They're hard.
Mhm.
And if I can teach them to find their center in the middle of the emotional chuvalu, I hope that they can take that when they're actually finding it hard in the world later on and parang break up, walang ka ng trabaho, everybody hates you, you failed a grade, etc., etc. You've got to be able to stop and then kind of have a checklist. Am I hurt? No. Am I this? No. Okay. So what is it? It's feelings. All right. Feelings will come and go. I just have to stop and just see what I'm feeling. It's okay. Yung mga ganon. And I really feel that that's what's important to me right now, to build that thing with my children. Kasi life is hard, man. I
Mm.
mean, look at COVID. I mean, who would have thought that this would happen? But it's here. We're all
Yeah.
scared of our jobs. We don't know where the paychecks are coming from. The artistas, the lawyers, the judges, the professional athletes who are so, kumbaga, in our idea, in our estimation, are so okay. All of
Mm.
a sudden, they're in the same boat as us. Like,
Yeah.
we don't know where
Yeah.
we're gonna, if we're gonna have a job next month. I don't know if we're gonna get retrenched, etc. And those things are hard. And if you don't show, I hope that I'm able to tell my children how to deal. Kasi mahirap eh. Basta na yung heartbreak. My God, parang, di ba, tataob yung mundo mo?
Ooh, oo.
Okay, may tanong ako.
Oo.
Ano yung pinakamahirap yung heartbreak? Kayong apat. Kasi umalis si Ken. Ayun.
Hindi, andyan na siya.
Ayan
Ako,
na.
ako una na ako sasagot.
Sige.
Um, the one, I think there are two. One is yung, it's not just the heartbreak ng jowa. I think alam mo naman yun. Jowa siya and best friend a long time ago. Huy, naiiyak na ako. Shit! Um, sige, alam na nila to, pero nung time na na-realize ko na shit, this is so over. Nandun ako sa Osmeña, South Super Highway, tapos
Oo.
sa SM Hypermarket, naghihintay ako ng bus papunta sa work. Tapos, huy, oh my God, I hate you, Del. Lagi mo ako pinaiyak.
Lagi mo, ano
Always. I hate you. um,
Oo.
Nandun ako, tapos naghihintay ako ng bus. Tapos nung na-realize ko na, fuck, he blocked me. Shit. Excuse my language. Pero, shit, he blocked me. Tapos yung parang, naghihintay ako ng bus, pupunta ako ng work. Tapos parang napaupo na lang ako ng bus doon sa may sidewalk. Wala akong pakialam kung gaano kadami yung tao. Uy, ano ba yan? Um, wala akong pakialam kung gaano kadami yung tao. Tapos, umiyak lang ako na umiyak doon. Wala akong pakialam. Doon sa may sidewalk ng SM Hypermarket ng Makati. Tapos, when I felt na, medyo okay na ako, and I don't care if I'm late for work, I'll have to go to work. Andito na ako, Diyos ko, ang layo. Naglakad na ako kasi yung SM Hypermart, parang 2 to 3 kilometers away from my house. So, Diyos ko, girl, nasa labas ka na, nakapag-ice na ako and all that. Tapos hindi pa na ako papasok. No, I will show up. So, sumakay ako ng bus, tapos parang, yung you're trying to keep everything in, tapos,
Yeah.
pero, you have the courage to, basta, move forward. Tapos, nasa bus na ako. Nandun ako sa may likod ng driver. Tapos, di ba, parang mga senior something. Pero, yun na kasi yung last pick up papunta sa Alabang bus.
Oh,
So,
fun.
so, okay lang sa akin. Sige, doon ako sa harap. Tsaka feeling ko noon, I was so disabled. Sorry na. So may katabi ako na matanda na lady. Tapos, nung medyo malapit na yung Alabang exit, kasi nararamdaman niya na parang,
Oo,
may ganun
humihiti
akong
ka.
moment.
Oo,
May
yeah,
ganun akong
yeah.
moment. As in, parang you're trying to keep everything in. Tapos, hoy, ano ba yan? Pati sipon ko.
Ah, alam mo, maganda yan. Kasi, ano yan eh, cathartic. Cathartic yan.
Oo.
Ang galing ni
Um,
Del magpaiyak.
I
Sorry.
hate you, Del. You do this. Nakita ko to kay Boy Abunda. Tapos, so, nasa bus na. Tapos malapit na yung exit. Tapos, hinawakan niya lang yung dun sa kamay. Hi, Erwin!
Hi,
Tapos, hinawakan niya lang yung ganito.
Kamay, ay, yung braso
Kasi
mo.
magkatabi kami. Ako yung nandun malapit
Oo.
sa aisle, tapos siya yung nasa gitnang seat. Dun sa three-seater thing. Three-seater thing. Pronunciation, girl. Tapos, hinawakan niya ako dito, tapos sabi niya, uy, okay ka lang. Tapos sabi niya, tapos as in, fucking ugly cry hanggang makarating ng Alabang exit. Tapos, super mukha akong tangang umiiyak hanggang sa naglalakad ako ng mga less than a kilometer papuntang office. Tapos, pagdating ng, nag 7-Eleven ako saglit para lang just to keep myself
Freshen up. Oo.
looking okay.
Oo,
Hanggang sa
yeah.
makarating ako ng opisina. Um, Tapos nag-elevator. Pagdating ko ng opisina, like everything's okay. The truth is, sa office, nalaman lang nila na nag-break kami nung that ex more than a year later.
Later, okay.
Oo. Na-amaze sila na parang, you've held it in for so long, akala nila for the longest time na
Okay ka.
it's still going on. No? Pero
Going
for the
strong.
longest time, the routine of going to work, and it was a good time kasi parang meron akong new role and new tasks.
Oo.
I really put myself into it.
Right.
Yun. And also the other heartbreak was when it was super hard. Hindi ko alam which is worse. Parang it's not official, but it kind of is. Pero it was almost Din's birthday. Tapos kahit sobrang kasagsagan ng ulan, nagpunta kami ng QC. Papunta
Yes.
doon para lang mag-inuman. Tapos parang I think all of us have the same shit going on. Ako
Right.
at si Chai. And I think that's one of the things that led to our inuman sessions. Which
You're
led to
forging a
wine
friendship,
nights.
right?
Yes.
So, I want to know, like, what do you think made you go through it in the way that you did? Like, hindi kasi mahirap eh. For me, it was like, pag iniisip ko yung first heartbreak ng mga anak ko, parang tatumbling ako.
Oh, hirap.
Kasi ang hirap niya, di ba? Ang hirap niya. I don't know if it was like, it felt like a total annihilation of the self. It felt like there will be no more tomorrow. Things are broken, and from here on out, it's going to be just eggshells and broken glass. That's what it felt. And I don't know
Yeah.
what you do to get through it. And whenever I think about, okay, I hope when my children have a heartbreak, they have something in their childhood that they can like go back to and say no, sabi ni mommy or sabi ni daddy or whatever. You gotta build them bones, right? You gotta build them
Yeah.
bones. And in as much as I want to make my children's childhood happy, I'm scared sometimes if happiness makes them weak.
Mm.
Isn't that weird?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, naiisip ko yun parang okay. Kasi ako eh. Handa ako sa trahedya, sa mga may hirap na chuvalu. I mean, I've never really talked about the really hard stuff in my life. But if I were to see all of that now that I'm 40, almost 47, and I'm looking at my life, parang, shit! Parang ang dami naman nun. Akala ko ba isa-isa? Ano ba yung feeling na, ano ba, for example, may namatay sa pamilya. Feeling mo, tapos ka na. Bayad na eh.
Mm.
Okay ka na, set ka na for life. Wala ka nang kailangan isipin kasi nangyari na eh. Okay, tapos na. My God, hindi pala. Tuloy-tuloy. Walang humpay. And then I
Of course.
and I kept thinking, what made me just forge ahead? Like what is it? Is it who we are, how we think? Is it what our parents said? Is it something that a friend, the presence of a friend next to you? I sometimes wonder, kasi iniisip ko, kung ano man yung nagpalagay sa'yo na maging strong, gusto ko ilagay yun sa mga anak ko. Paano
How?
Yun nga eh, how and what? Yun ang mga,
Oo,
right.
ayun na. So finally, after walang mga sagot, ganun ang parenting, walang sagot. Di ba, Keng? Walang sagot, di ba?
Yes.
You know what it is? I call it my Teflon theory. So my Teflon theory is that, you just keep throwing things at your children. Keep throwing things, not literally. Like, when my kids say, "Mom, this is hard. Life is hard. Get used to it."
Ah,
Mga ganong sayings na just keep throwing things at them, like, and then whatever sticks, you don't know what's gonna stick, right? Most of it will slide off like Teflon, but whatever sticks, that's what they will use in their times of trouble when they get older. That's what I'm hoping. So, kung ano man yon, kumbaga parang bangko, lagay ka lang ng lagay. Lagay ka ng lagay. Kasi hindi mo alam kung kailan kukunin ng anak mo yan. Kasi kailangan nila yan sa paglaki. Ba't naman tayo napunta doon? Ano bang naman nangyari?
ewan ko. Ikaw kasi, kung ano mga tanong na naiisip mo, ano ba yan? Yung tanong na nga lang namin.
Biggest heartbreak.
Hindi, pero ganun
Sila.
nga yun with kids. You really have to build with them. Parang, I have my second kid. My husband and I are trying to figure out if it's a side effect of his medication. Pero ano siya, sobrang iyakin siya, minsan OA na. Like for example, nalobat ang cellphone niya in the middle of a game. Yung iyak niya, akala mo gumuho na yung mundo. And he's almost 12. And, di ba, ang weird. Sabi ko, cellphone lang yan. Ano ba? So what I try to do with him is I try to make him understand na hindi naman sa I don't want to tell him it's wrong to react that way, but try to condition to him na it's not that important. I mean, you can charge your phone, you just have to wait a little bit. So lagi ko tinatanong sa kanya, bakit ka nagagalit? Ba't ka nag-aalboroto? Kasi daw nalobat ang phone niya. So anong gusto mo gawin ni Mami? Magic? Sa kanya.
What's the diagnosis? Kang, what's the diagnosis? If he's on his medications, what's the diagnosis?
Rolandic benign epilepsy.
Okay. It has nothing. Okay. It's epilepsy.
So
okay.
he has medications, maintenance medicine to suppress the seizures because his seizures it happens while he's sleeping. So it's kind of scary. So we have a camera on his bed and all of that. So
Oh my
not-
gosh.
it's scary. Last March, he had a week na puro seizures. March ba o June? I forget. Basta
June.
itong tama June during the quarantine. And nakakatakot kasi na record ng camera. Oh my God. Na record ng camera na panood ng asawa ko. And yung first kasi niyang seizure before he was diagnosed, ako at saka yung brother ko yung nakakita. So I'm sort of parang alam ko na how it looks like. And it's the first time that my husband saw him get
Saw it.
that seizure. He was lying on the bed and yung actual na epileptic seizure. And my husband, he rarely cries. Bigla siyang humagulgol. Ang anak ko! Sabi niya ganun. Sumiiyak na lang siya. And ako yung iyakin sa aming dalawa ng husband ko.
Yeah.
So, ayun. Talagang ano siya, seeing him break down like that. My God. Ang hirap.
Mahirap. Oo, mahirap. Yeah.
Oy, Del, pinaiyak mo si Keng.
Oo. Titignan na nga ako.
Sinong
Sandali.
susunod na iiyak?
Ganito.
May count.
Ganito.
Mini mo.
Titigil muna ako. Kayo na lang magtanong. Kasi,
Pero
sorry,
yan,
sorry.
ano,
Si Frank at saka si
yun
Jelly.
lang, with the parenting, I always try to throw it in question. I make him realize na his reaction to a cell phone going low bat. It's not good. Na parang hello, parang minsan yung iyak niya, talagang lakas na, now! Nak, 11 ka na. Lapit ka na mag-TV. Nanliligaw ka na nga.
Oo nga.
Ginagano ko.
Oo nga pala, nagkaka-crush na nga pala si Wyatt, no?
Oo.
Oh my God, crushes!
Na.
Oo.
Crush din daw siya
Oh
ng
my
crush.
gosh! Oo,
It's
correct.
ay,
Parang may isang kinakabahan na dyan.
Oo, kinakabahan
meron
na yung
naman
isa.
ganyan si Cooper.
Sino ako?
Ganyan na ba
Ako?
siya? Mga crushes na ba? Ganun.
Wala, hindi pa siya interested eh. Hindi pa siya interested. Well, that's
You're
what
still
I
the you're still the top woman in his life.
I think, oo. I think so. I think so.
Nakakaliw yung mga ano niya eh. Yung, sila ni Parker, yung mga hirit nila. Yung pinopost mo na you're the only woman. Yung mga reaction niya. Parang sabi ko,
Oo.
ang lambing ng mga anak ni Del.
Yes.
Oo.
Actually, malambing sila. Nakakaloka. Kasi alam mo, I was raised na I never kissed my mother until I was in college. I never hugged my siblings. Never. We were just not, and I think this is mostly true for most Filipinos. We're not
Culture.
touchy-feely, right? We're just not touchy-feely people.
Tsaka puro passive-aggressive people.
Yes.
Yes.
And siguro there was a part of, kasi alam ko I'm really affectionate. Kung gaano ako kataray, feeling ko ganon din yung level ng tenderness ko. Kaya rin ako ganon eh. Kailangan, kasi pag mahina ka or super sensitive ka, nakakatakot i-expose yan sa mundo, di ba? So people might take advantage or make fun of you or
Yes,
something, right?
True.
But it turns out that I'm really, really affectionate. And it came out when I got married and I had kids. My children, talaga grabe. Kung pwede ko lang silang singhutin, sisinghutin ko sila.
Grabe naman yung singhot. Baka matokhang ka niyan. Kasi nasa US ka.
Masaya dito, oo. Yeah, they love me so much. Kahit my husband said, you know, our kids love you so much. Every morning when I wake up, I get woken up by kids, landing on my left side, landing on my right side, and landing on me. Ganun kami palagi. Tsaka pag may hinalikan ka, hindi pwedeng siya lang. Kailangan yung isa. Kailangan yung isa.
Kailangan lahat.
Tapos, alam mo yung for the first time feeling ko, I am the center of the universe. Oo, feeling ko parang, sabi nila hindi daw umiinog ang mundo sa akin. Bakit parang?
O, hindi ba kaya lagi ko sinasabi na parang nakaka-encourage magka-kids? Pag
Oo nga.
nakikita
Kumikirot na ang matres ni Tony.
Yeah.
Nagko-contract. Oo, nagko-contract. Nagdadilate. Contract. Dilate. Pag nakikita niyo yung mga babies on Instagram. Ay! Ayan na.
Sabihin mo yan.
Jowa, charing.
Kasi pag gusto mo, go ahead, diba? Ang ano ko lang naman is, you gotta know what you're getting into.
Yourself into.
Because my God, I know some women and very nice ladies, women, they don't want children. And I think that's great. Kasi why have a child if you don't want the responsibility?
Right.
You'll resent at least 18 years of your life. Are you kidding me? No, thank
18.
you. I'd rather just travel around the world and spend my money on something else.
That's also
Therapy card.
fun.
Oo.
Therapy.
So, ang ganda kasi may choice na ang babae ngayon eh. O, di ba?
Yeah.
True, true,
Right.
true.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
not forced on you anymore. Ganun.
Right.
Yeah. And anytime people say, oh, this is the next step. Wait, the question is it my next step?
Who are you to say that's my next step?
Oh, you gotta figure it out yourself. You know, you gotta dance to your own beat, man.
Yeah.
Share ko lang tong story to kasi napag-usapan yung motherhood, no. The first time I met Del in person was in my OB's clinic. Remember?
Oo.
Sobrang ano ko noon, sobrang mainit ang ulo ko kasi ay pumila ako sa HMO ng like 3 hours. Tapos pagpasok ko sa clinic ng OB, kausap ko yung secretary, labas si Del, nagbabayad siya ng consultation fee yata. Tapos bigla niya akong tinanong, oo nga, nung haba nga ng pila, ganyan. And you were talking about for like 5 minutes before ko na-realize, si Delamar to. Pausap ko. Oh my gosh, sabi ko, si Del to. Tapos I think I was pregnant with Joseph at that time. Yun yung ano ko no. Tapos I think a few months after I gave birth, may Twitter exchange kami ni Del. Del was talking about wanting to have kids. And then sabi ko sa kanya, you never know, baka mangyari pa yan, ganyan. Tapos biglang after a while, I think she tweeted back na sinabi niya sa akin. Kasi hindi ako nakakapakinig ng TMR noon kasi panggabi ako noon. Nag-tweet siya na sabi niya, she's already pregnant. Tapos yung share niya sa yung coffee bean na episode.
Oh, coffee
Na
bean.
sabi,
15th anniversary.
para daw
all there.
nag-deal daw ako kasi I told her na mangyayari yan para sa'yo. Kasi akala niya, hindi na given the medical history and all of that. And then there, it's super. And 2 more. Diba?
Oo, na umapat pa eh, nakaapat
3
pa.
more
Masyadong
actually.
ano
Oo,
yan eh, yung nag-iisang ovary, overachiever. Masyado siyang ano. Parang,
Kitang gilas. Kitang gilas.
oo, parang siyang si Reese Witherspoon sa elections. Parang, I'm ready. Wait. Excuse me. Is my partner gone? Because I can take this on.
She worked overtime.
Yeah.
Malay
So,
mo din, may humabol pa.
Ay, wala na po. Wala na po.
Boy, you can never say
Pinasara ko na ang
never.
factory. No more?
okay. Gotcha.
No, because I almost, I was kind of, takot na silang manenok ako nung last.
Oh.
Pagpasok nila, ay, konti na lang, pwede ka na ma-dads. Okay, let's stop this. Ganon, may ganun feeling. Which is good, kasi ayoko na rin. Isipin mo, every time I came to the US, I got pregnant always on the odd years. 2011, 2013, 2015, 2017.
17.
Right.
So every time na pupunta ako dito, sasabihin ng mother-in-law ko, you're pregnant again?
Okay, malapit na yung 2021.
Hindi. And dumating kami dito 2019, so kinakabahan siya, are you pregnant? Sabi ko, no. I put a stop to that. Tama na po. Tama na. No more?
Pero ang galing how
fun,
you're
no?
able to
It's
bring
fun.
them up, everyone.
Yeah.
But I'm sure no matter how well you think you're doing it and how aware and mindful you are, you are going to do some kind of damage. You will. It's inevitable. Nobody's perfect, diba? So, I'm sure, sana lang wag sa mga podcast magsalita yung mga anak. Ay!
Magpa-podcast din sila paglaki nila.
Parang,
Then,
ang nightmare ko, meron silang sarili nilang podcast, silang tatlo. Ang title ganito, The Damage My Mom did to us.
inflicted.
Yeah, that's the
episode
word.
na rin.
Inflicted. Damage inflicted by our mother.
Feeling ko kasama nila si David doon at saka si Drew.
Everyone! Grabe ka din!
Grabe.
Grabe.
Oh my God.
Then
Ay,
now that you're
nakakatuwa.
no longer a DJ and and a billboard model. Billboard model! Naalala ko yung mga billboards mo sa Guadalupe,
Somebody's
no?
Oh my
kilikili.
God, oo nga. Yung groupies.
How would you introduce yourself to the world? It's not everybody know who you are anymore compared to when you were very active in
Yeah.
radio.
No, that's a great question because that goes to my answer a while ago of you asked me Chai earlier like okay what are the things that are hard being a stay-at-home mom and I did say like building your
Yeah.
identity because now sino ka na kasi dati
Mm-mm.
then the name says it all right you don't have
Yeah,
to you have an idea of who she is but
yeah.
now you're just Dell here in America I'm just Dell you're just someone's mom someone's wife someone who has to drop off the kids. You know, I'm nothing out of the ordinary. And in a way, I really feel there's a place for it in my life. Because I had 20 years where people knew you, people had an opinion about you, even if they've never
Mhm.
talked to you. Right?
Mhm.
I enjoy it and I'm always thinking, you know, when Tito Boy on the Eves podcast said something like he's come to terms with being a has been.
Mm.
You know, I remember thinking, "Oh my god, I can let's talk about this because I went through it. Imagine just being Dell of the morning rush and then all of a sudden getting out of it. You know, from where I'm sitting, it's like you have so many options laid in front of you. And then
Mm.
you get yourself out of radio and one by one they disappear, you know? And the and and it's hard because you don't know who you are. 20 years that's who you think you know you are, right? But now what? Who are you?
Yeah.
And that's why it's one of the hardest things because now I have to know I am not my job.
Mm-mm, yeah.
I am not I am not who people think I am.
Mm-mm.
So the question is who am I?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm figuring out now. And to be honest, right now August 14 here in the US. You know what I've been doing that I haven't been telling a lot of people is that it feels like I've been going to school. Like
Mhm.
every single thing is a learning
Mm.
experience. And I'm not just talking about the cooking, the gardening, everything else. It's not that. Online, I'm always watching lectures. Lectures from intellectuals who can explain to me the world and why it's changing and why we're also effed up. Like in the
Mm.
United
Yeah.
States, there's a strong feeling that there will be a civil war after November when
Oh,
the
after
elections are done.
election.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's something
Yeah.
that people talk about. Like, you know, the great podcasters will say, we're scared, we don't know what's gonna happen. And then Donald Trump says, you know, he's already planting the seeds na pag natalo siya, hindi siya aalis. Na pag natalo siya,
Mm-mm.
may cheating na nangyari. Pag natalo, yung,
Uh-uh.
he's already setting the stage for conflict,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That is scary shit. That
Yeah.
is scary shit. So,
Pinoy ba si Trump?
parang, ewan ko. Oo, pero bakit ko nga ba sinabi yun? Why am I saying that? Why did I say
I
that?
Because of the existential crisis.
Yeah. So everything I've been trying to understand, like, okay, so what is democracy? What is free speech? What is activism? What is transgender rights? What is all of these things? Like I refuse to now just listen to mainstream media. Kasi
Mm-mm.
more and more, the more I watch CNN, the more I realize this is not news. This is not news. This is a slant.
Reality.
Kasi ulit siya ng ulit eh. Tapos palagi
Mm-mm.
silang, parang, why can't you just give me the facts and I'll just form my opinion? And so,
Mm.
I had to go somewhere to get the facts. Kasi hindi mo na halos
Mm-mm.
makita yan sa mainstream. So yeah, I've been building. I've been, in my mind, I've been attending lectures from, great idea of YouTube. Kasi parang iniisip
Yes.
ko, oh my gosh, before, I would not have had any chance to hear a lecture from a Harvard professor, from a Stanford
Right.
professor. But now in the age of COVID, all of them are going online. All of them have
Mm.
their podcasts. And now I can just learn the things that make me go crazy at night and scared of the world. Now I can listen to people who know what they're talking about
True.
and then get some enlightenment, process it myself, and then understand, oh, okay, this is the world right now. Okay, what am I going to do? Okay, I'm not going to add to the fire. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. So I love that I'm learning. I feel like a college student. I wish I was going to
Mhm.
college at age 47. Kasi alam ko na yung
Wow.
mga courses na gusto kong kunin. Oo, tsaka
Oo,
yung,
totoo.
diba? Kasi ang dami mo palang pwedeng matutunan. Ang dami. Pati
Yes.
carpentry. Papatusin ko.
Mm-mm. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Kayang-kaya mo yon. Lahat na lang. Excel. Actually, in everything
Sorry
you
guys,
do.
malapit. Guys, sorry medyo malapit ko nang iprito yung manok sa kapitbahay nila din.
Kinadin ba yun? Akala ko kay na Jeff.
Oo,
Kilabin niya.
kailan din.
Alam mo,
Kapitbahay
Parang-
daw niya.
parang pastor yung manok na yan. Yan tandaan mo
Oo.
yan.
Kung
Pastor.
kailan nagsasalita,
Star.
gustong pumatong. Ano ba yan?
Sandali.
Sumama sa podcast eh.
Sandali. Gusto pumatong ng cock?
Sabi na eh.
Don't we just all love that? You just have to take that chance.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
there. I mean, I tried
Take it,
quizzes.
take it.
Earlier on, I tried quizzes. But it kept, crowing. Oh my God.
Take it, take it.
Naitawid mo yun ha.
Oo. Alam ko tapos na ako sa mga tawid-tawid na ganyan eh.
But no.
Marami nagsasabi na namimiss na daw nila yung tilaok ng manok.
Oo, si PI, tsaka si Ernest.
Saka si
Ay,
Ernest.
tsaka si
I'm
Ernie.
sure. Wait, Ernest, wala bang manok sa South? Ano ba kayo? South Carolina?
South
Wala bang
Carolina.
manok? Wala bang manok
Dress
dyan?
na.
Ito gusto ko to, itong comment ni Ernest.
My God, my virgin ears. Wow.
Wait a minute. Wait
I'm
a
sorry.
minute. Okay, Ernest, I'll say this much. Maybe the only part of you
That's virgin.
Yung part of you that's still a virgin right now.
Are your ears.
Oh, Ernest, I'm teasing you. Don't get pikona. Oh my God. Oo. Feeling
Wala kaming
familiar.
manok dito. Pakit
Wala daw
kami.
silang manok.
Peacock.
I wanna see your peacock. Cock. Hoy, bakit ka tayo ni Katy Perry?
Yeah.
Si Din tuwan-tuwa na sa galak, nakarinig lang ng cock.
Kita mo yan.
Balik na tayo sa question.
Sadali. May question ako. Aside from King and I, who are married, who during quarantine is living with their partner?
Me no.
Chai? No?
No,
Steph?
naka-quarantine siya sa
No.
Manila.
Oh, ang hirap ah.
Yeah.
It's true. So hirap,
It's it.
Jess.
Yeah,
We
it's
deserve
hard.
it.
No,
Ilang
I
buwan
lost
na
count
nakaka-
at 3. Ilang months na. I lost count at 3. I don't know when. Pagod na ako. Pagod na daliri ko.
Chai, when the fingers get tired, it's time to take out the machines. Put on the
O, hindi
That's
ko
why we-
magpapadala ka ng toy, Char.
Dala, feeling ko kasi nanonood yun eh. Sabi ko sa kanya kasi na kanina, we're gonna go live with Del. Feeling ko nanonood yun. Papatay na
Hi.
yun.
Anyway, going back.
Anyway,
Ayun,
going
Hello,
back.
Chinese partner.
Going back to the questions. Knowing the situation in the US and in the Philippines, if you have a choice, where would you choose to live right now?
Philippines. I mean, yeah, I know. I hear of the. Well, I've been seeing the news coming from the Philippines, and it's really hard.
Oh, yeah.
It's I can't. I try. Like, no, maybe you're just hearing the news that aligns with your political leanings. No way. From people telling me, like, God, have you heard? Have you heard? It's really hard to see what the Philippines is going through and who are the people in charge. It's really hard. Kasi parang, okay, sige, sabihin na natin na wala kayong great ideas. But then you know someone who does. there are people who actually have ideas. May mga
Yeah.
mungkahi sila na ang basihan, agham, science. And yet, they don't want to use it. And I'm like, dude, 107 million Filipinos are suffering, man. Come on!
Yeah.
Come the fuck on! Yung ganun yung feeling, diba? Pero, and come here, and although it seems like in the US, if you're just watching the news, it looks like a crazy place. But the truth is, it's pretty chill. There are hotspots of cities, but
Mhm.
the majority, people are okay. You can feel that there's something brewing, but it's not bad. Pero for all intents and purposes, hindi ko kasi sila kababayan eh. Iba ang history nila eh. Iba ang, kumbaga, most of my 46 years of life, I have shared with my countrymen. So kung anong hirap nila, nadaanan ko yun. Na walang iwanan. Diyos ko, nagkukudeta. Diba? Nagkukudeta
Yeah.
na. Kung ano-ano man. Nobody had the thought na, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go somewhere. No, you stay. No, this is your country. So I've always had that feeling. And I think part of me feels guilty being here at the hardest time that the Philippines is going through. I don't know why. I think maybe I'm effed up a little bit because hindi kasi syempre sa UP, 'di ba ganun 'yun eh, Pilipino ka eh. Pinoy ka, fight for as in ang lalim pala nung ugat ng mga iniisip mo dati sa college ka. So when I see that my countrymen is in deep shit, I feel like, did I escape? Did I leave? Did I jump ship? Of course, I didn't know that COVID was going to happen. I was here in June, right? But nevertheless, that's beside the point. When you see people suffering who are, to you, your countrymen, you don't know what to do. Like, how do I help? I don't have a job. I don't have a lot of money. I wish I did, but I don't. So how does one help? And that's like, so if you're asking me kung saan pa rin ako pupunta, if I didn't have family of my own, na ang asawa ko Amerikano, mga anak ko dual citizens, if it was just me, I would stay in the Philippines. Bubunuin ko siya. Kasi napagdaanan natin yan 70s, di ba? First quarter storm. People power. ERAP. GMA. FVR. Lahat naman yun napagdaanan natin. Pinoy. Lahat natin yan nakayanan natin. So I'm thinking, kakayanin din ng Pilipino ito, the COVID world. Kakayanin natin. Pero syempre, ang feeling ko, ano kung wala ako dyan? Syempre, feeling ko naman, importante ako. Hindi naman. Pero what I'm saying is, I just want to be solid. I want to show some solidarity with the people who are my countrymen. Hindi pa kasi ako Pilipinas eh. Hindi pa kasi ako Amerikano. Hindi pa ako Amerikano. So, iniisip ko, yan ang mga conundrum ko ngayon. Parang, okay, if I become a citizen, what happens to my being Filipino? Does it just get cast aside? Like, okay, bye. I'm now American. Bye, guys. I don't think so. What do I do?
Yeah.
Right? Do I care about these people in the United States? 300 million people. I'm up almost 400. 400 million people that I have shared no history with. No ethnicity with. Hardly. Sige, mga Pinoy. Pero maliit lang yun. But I share no language. I share no history with you. So how do I know I'm in the same boat?
Right.
Well, my citizenship. On the other hand, that if I do become American, when I do become American, naisip ko, this is the greatest experiment of our lives. The United States decided to build the nation of immigrants. How is that possible? And it's crazy. That's why they're also crazy here. Kasi ang daming mga Italiano, Polish, Irish, Pinoy, Koreans. And then what happens to their culture before coming here? It's still there.
Right.
And it's clashing. It's clashing. It's clashing. So anyway, I'm right there. Pero kung tatanungin mo ako kung anong gagawin ko, I'd rather be with my countrymen. That's who I am. I feel like that. Pinoy ako eh. Pinoy ako eh. Yun. That's it. That's
Pinoy pride. Feeling ko nga if nandito ka, kasama ka sa mga rally-rally.
Yeah.
Ganyan. Magkikita-kita tayo sa UP. Ganyan.
hindi ako nung 90s marali ako. Pero nung kalaunan, sabi ko, I'm gonna make up my own mind and I'm not gonna join but I am going to support, but I'm not going to join.
Yep.
I don't know why I did that. Maybe I'm
Pero
just.
yung mga rally ngayon, Del, ano eh, may online na
Online.
eh.
Online rally.
Ano yun?
Yeah.
What is that?
FB,
What does that look like?
Nagsusunod
FB
sila ng
Live.
FEG sa Zoom. So makikita ng iba. Parang ganon.
So, Zoom na siya.
Really?
Parang online
Yes.
protest.
Sandali. So parang Zoom na maraming tao, ganun?
Yes.
Because I think you can put up
Also
to
sa FB page
100.
nung
It,
whoever
it goes
hosts
live
Then
on
they
Facebook.
post it
Everyone
live on
watches.
Facebook.
Mhm.
Yes.
And then
Oh,
it lasts for several
my.
hours.
It's
I joined
digital.
those.
That's
Yep.
the new normal.
Saka yung mga petitions, di ba? Maraming mga petitions
Oo.
na.
Oh,
Hindi
online.
naman natin alam kung
Nag-iba na ang petitions.
petitions natin, pero we still keep, signing it just in the hope that something will
That
change.
something good comes out of it, right?
Oh my gosh, that's 2020 for you, right? Rally online. My God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Ang daming,
Rally
ang
online,
daming,
petition online.
We do
Ay.
everything online now.
Oh. Do
tingin
you
mo
guys
man
go?
online.
Do you guys go out? Do you guys go out of your homes?
Grocery
I-
time.
I,
do.
I
Every day.
Chai.
I moved actually in the middle of the
Mm-mm.
quarantine shit.
Talaga?
I moved from Quezon City to Taguig. Yeah.
Oh my
Pero ano
God.
na, parang GCQ na naman when I moved. But it was hard. And the reason why I moved was because the training for my new job was here in BGC. And it was supposed to be on-site. And I'm supposed to be reporting on-site actually. Kaya medyo pinamove yung time. Kasi hanggang 10 a.m. yung shift ko. Not knowing na something will happen at the office. And I will be forced to work at home even if my internet connection is not that stable yet. So I'm working from home still. I'm quarantined in my own house, well, unit.
So you
But
live
yeah, I've
alone?
been stepping out. I live alone now, yes.
Now.
How about you, Jeff? Do you live alone?
Ayan, si Jeff masaya yan.
Ayan si Jeff, ano yan?
Huh?
Alone, but got friends around.
In your condo, you have friends?
Hindi kasi siya
I
Manila
don't
based.
the condo.
He's in Osamis.
You know.
Wait, what?
I'm
Yeah,
in
he's from Osamis. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, tumaas ang boses ko ng sandali. Wait, what? Wait, what? That's not, wait,
Yeah.
what? Wait, what? Wait, Miss Samis?
Yes.
Osamis.
Yes.
Di ba Osami?
Samis,
Ano ba
not si Samis.
talaga?
Ano ba?
Misamis, the city. Misamis Occidental is the province.
Oh.
What do you speak there? What do you speak?
We speak French, Portuguese, charot.
Taray! Hoy, nag-i-Italian songs yan. Magaling siya.
That's the dialect.
What's the dialect? Sorry, Bisaya.
Yeah.
Ah.
Oo nga, nag-Italian songs siya.
Oh wow. Oh, si Keng has a family. Tony, do you live alone?
Yeah, I do. Since March.
Oh my God. How about you, Dean?
I live with help.
Ay, siya.
Alright.
I like it. I like it.
Yan ang kaya. Yan si Dean ang kaya.
I live with help.
Excuse me. Excuse
Sorry,
me.
she needs good help, you know. Excuse me.
Excuse me. I live with help.
Alam mo sina Doña Delamar.
Hashtag privileged.
Oy, hindi Nanay-nanayan ko kasi si mama ayaw niya na mag-isa lang ako.
Ano
Kasi kailangan ko daw ng bantay. O diba at this age, kailangan ko pa rin ng bantay.
Oo, para daw
Kailangan
hindi
niya
ka
ng bantay
mag-uwi
para
ng
hindi
ano.
siya maghasik ng lagim sa bahay niya. Kasi baka kung ano-anong mangyari sa bahay. Mga blind corners pa naman.
Kasi daw haliparot ka.
Oo.
Haliparot ka eh. Kaya kailangan kong bantayan.
No one
Tama.
projecting.
Yeah.
No one objecting, not even her. Tawa lang siya ng tawa. Oh, tama. Parang kinikiliti na naman sa kung saan eh. Oh, tama.
Gutit.
Umi-effect na ang vodka ko. Sandali. Umiinit ang cheeks ko. Oo.
Rosy cheeks. Asian flush.
Umiinit siya. Ang init oh. Ay, ang ginaw dito sa akin.
Hindi ba summertime?
I
Or
know.
calling it?
Yeah, no, it is. It's summertime, but sa basement malamig. As in malamig.
Wait, nasa basement ka?
Oo,
Sama
ito
daw
ay
tayo ni Pia sa banyo.
basement namin.
Ano,
Sandali. Magulo
ano,
lang ng konti, pero
sinadugo sa
oo,
Oh. Oh my God, ang
Eh,
Ang
laki!
tawa.
nice. Ang laki.
may ano kami,
Pwede,
may entertainment system. Parang ang nasa sinehan, ganun.
Ang
Wow.
Ganon.
galing.
May
parang
pa
pwedeng
ganon.
maglaro ng soccer dyan. Ang laki.
Oo nga.
Kaya gusto yung basement usually dito, they use it as a storage. Pero yung may-ari nito didn't do that. So medyo malaking room, tas may dalawang bedrooms and a bathroom and a little
Right.
kitchen.
Hmm.
So, so sabi ni Tyler, let's just keep it as is. Dito siya nag-work. So, off limits ako sa basement, except when there's a podcast.
Okay. Quiet place. So, dahil
Okay.
isasama daw tayo ni PI sa banyo.
Oh my God, I
Naliligo
don't
daw
want to
kasi
see it!
siya
No,
for his 10 a.m. shift.
it's okay. As long as it's audio, please don't go video on us. The strategically placed bubbles,
Pero I'm so sorry, but I have to leave. It's my future. Guys,
It's your what?
Eh,
yeah.
Yeah, he has a prior
Waiting at the
engagement.
front. I need to go because
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
Jeff,
sir.
He runs a restaurant.
so
it
nice
was
to
so
meet you, Del.
it's so nice to meet you. And can I just tell you something?
Yes, please.
I don't know what you were thinking getting hooked up with these four crazy ladies, but you gotta stop that shit. What's good for you? No, Jeff, it's so nice to see you. And I hope I get to see you sing. I get to ano naman,
isa.
Sample.
isa lang.
Sample.
Kahit a little bit,
Isa,
bago
Jeff.
ka umalis.
Oh my God. Do I really have to do this?
Yes,
Yes.
you do.
Yes.
Nag-live ka na
Sorry.
rin.
But, I'm the
Oo.
guest.
Right?
One
I'm gonna
stanza
pull
lang
the guest
guys.
card. Pwede mag-request?
Yes, please.
Ay, talaga?
Yung sa the sequel ng... Ay, go.
Ano? Sige.
I don't
Yung sa
know.
the sequel
What's your
ng...
Gusto ko sana
Na-
Beatles. Any Beatles song.
Oh.
yes.
Mas operatic si Jeff.
Mas
actually.
operatic
Operatic.
Mas
Okay,
operatic kasi
time.
yung
Because
ano
you're
niya, voice
operatic.
niya eh.
And you are about to say goodbye.
Ay,
And we have a little time to say
Oo.
goodbye.
You know
Yun.
Kinakatawa
Yun lang.
Hinahanap niya yung, yung lyrics.
nahanap niya yung...
Or,
Hindi,
or
nahanap niya yung key.
instrumental.
He knows that, he knows that, he knows that.
He knows that.
Naghahanap na siya ng lyrics. Nakamute ka, Jeff. Jeff, mute.
Hindi,
Unmute, unmute.
Hold on.
Ayan.
Looking for
Okay na.
music.
Nag-mute na naman.
Ayan. Ay,
Nawala.
unmute
Nawawala
niyo
yung-
ulit si Jeff.
Who's the host that muted me? Here it is. Can you hear it?
Yes.
This is so. This one life. La finestra mostra tutto il mio cuore che è acceso, chiudi dentro me la luce che ho incontrato per strada. And tu sei goodbye. I see That's it.
Grabe. Bitin na bitin.
Grabe. Pero marami yan, marami yan.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you so much. Sweet.
Thank you,
See you guys,
Jeff. Thank
Tita, in a while. I know you guys will not be finished in 3 hours, so I should be able to
Grabe ka sa 3 hours.
We're not finishing anytime soon.
finish this anytime soon, so I'll catch you up later. Just give me 30 minutes.
Bye, Jeff.
Bye,
Thank
Jeff.
you.
Sabi ni Kimi,
Oh.
ikaw na ngayon yung nagre-request.
Oo
Samantalang
nga.
before, ikaw ang aming request fairy.
Oo nga, I was the request
Yes.
fairy.
Oo.
Oh my gosh. Ang ganda. I love it.
He has, ano ba, meron siya sa YouTube yata ng mga covers niya, marami.
Oo.
Tsaka sa Spotify, di ba meron siyang parang, is that 4 or 5 songs on Spotify?
Ah,
Cover niya,
ganun.
mga ganong songs din. Mm-mm.
Ang galing, no? Like, if I would never have thought that you guys sang, just because when we see each other before, it was always something else, right? It was always something else. Chismis, the fun of just being together.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we never had like a video key night. We should have had a video key night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should have
Oo.
arranged something. Yeah.
Well, shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Yeah. Hey, si Keng, pakantahin mo. Ganda rin ang boses niyan eh.
Sila.
Wala
Kumanta
ba
sila
kayo?
nung live. Kami, host lang. Tek.
Tek, host.
What are you saying? Oh my God, Tony. Your mouth is so filthy.
Tack. I said tack.
I know you said peck.
Tack.
Kasi din kilig na naman. Nakarinig mo naman ng peg.
Oo, grabe. Oo. Minsan naisip ko nga dito sa Amerika, yung pag gusto mo magsabi lang ng mga masasamang salita, mga bad words, pero nakangiti ka, utangin na mo.
Hindi offended, no?
Oo. Di ba? Utangin na mo. Oo, ngingiti ako, pero tangin na mo.
Walang kang hayop ka. Ganon.
Oo. Oo, yung hayop
They
ka.
wouldn't know.
They would not. Well, I don't know.
Walang phone.
Oo,
Have you done that?
No. My
Kailangan
gosh,
sweet.
no. Oo. Pag gusto ko lumaban, kailangan harapan.
Conversation.
Harap-harapan dapat. Mm-mm.
Sa
Which is
mga nanonood sa atin ngayon, if you have questions for Del, you can go ahead and post it in the comments. We will read it and we will have Del answer your questions.
Yeah.
Ala.
You wanna play game?
Napainom si Del. Napainom si Del ng vodka.
Oo, sabi ko, ay, kailangan palang sumagot. So, no, to be honest, I really... Sino to?
Tigkuwentor.
Tigkuwentor! Oh my
Yung lagi mong
God.
binaban.
Oo, you're banned. Tigkuwentor, I know you miss me, but you're banned. Siya pa yung ibaban ko, pero ako naman ang wala dyan.
Oo nga eh. So let's play a game?
Yeah,
Okay.
sige.
Yes.
Let me set that up.
Let me prepare my team.
Explain nyo muna.
What are we
kayo.
playing?
So we'll be
Quiplash.
playing Quiplash. Del, have you heard of Jackbox games?
I tried to look at it online, but I couldn't get I couldn't understand it. Granting, I only had 2 minutes, but maybe you can tell me how it is.
So,
try.
kasi Jackbox games, so yung pack niya, maraming iba-iba na pang online games that we can play. For this particular one that we're playing, it's called Quiplash. It's like, hindi siya word association pero you're going to be given a question and you're going to have to answer it as funnily and as wittily as you can. And then, yung question na yun kasi will be going to 2 different people. So, the questions will be flashed side by side and then everybody gets to choose or vote on their favorite answer. Whoever gets the most votes wins that round. So for
I
this
see.
part, so the audience can also join in and they can
Okay.
also join in voting. So,
Okay.
mga nanonood, kung gusto nyo join, una-unahan na lang.
Naku, Norman will
So,
join na oh.
yung KLDH, you have to type it dun sa website ng jackbox.tv. Meron dun nakalagay room code. You have to type it there.
Natutunan
So that
namin
you can,
yun kay
ano,
Norman.
yeah.
Should I do that now?
Yes.
You
Yeah,
Yes,
on the
yes.
phone, okay lang.
open
Okay,
a browser and then go
Okay.
to
So, yeah.
jackbox.tv.
.tv.
Okay. Okay. Hold on. Let me see
Ito
my
yun.
Chrome. Okay. Alright. Okay, so that's Jackbox TV. Okay.
May mga audience members bang sasali? They
Si
can see
Norman.
na.
They
Join,
can see.
join, join.
Okay,
Jorman.
remember.
Norman.
Jorman.
KLTH.
Sino si Jorman?
Okay, ready.
And everybody's
ready.
in.
Si Norman sumali. Del is there. Anyone else who, kasi once we
We have
go
more
once we start the game, people can join in as
Yun
an
na yun.
audience na lang and they can just vote. So
Okay.
let's start.
Okay, everybody's in.
Go ahead, Ken. Yes.
Flash.
I'm Schmitty, and according to my guidance counselor, this is the only job I'm qualified for. Good looking group, judging by your names, anyway. Here's round one. You are about to see two prompts on your device. Type something hilarious or not for each one. Then everyone gets to decide if your answer is better than someone else's. Democracy at work. The more folks who choose your answer, the more points you get. Go.
Oh my God.
Ang hirap naman.
Ay, hirap naman ito. Nakaloka yung mga questions na
47 seconds.
Let's take a look. Number one on the list. You know your baby boy is growing up too fast when he starts to blank.
Uy, kanina to.
Okay, pick your favorite part now.
vote which answer you like best. The audience can do so also.
So for the audience members who wants to vote, you just go to jackbox.tv and you type in the room code and you can go ahead and vote in the answers that you like.
Uy, Keng, I think Danica Partosa is one of your Kumu friends.
Kapit
Fans.
Pam!
Kasi V-Mart.
Kapit Pam! Hey, Kapit Pam! Danica is part of the group that we actually follow Nino
Coming up
Alejandro on
next.
Kumu.
The only bad word that can follow bacon.
Oh.
Oh.
Voting time.
Oh. Sino to?
Ang sakit na
I
ng ulo ko
wanna
nakatawa, Lord.
do.
Norman!
Norman eh. Sabi na si Norman eh.
Next on deck, a terrible name for a toupee company. Okay, vote.
Tumay ka na.
That's it. Ba't nga tatlo yung mata niya? Ano?
Next in the hopper,
Hindi ko alam.
minion. Ready, set,
Banana talaga.
Banana.
Banana, 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 banana.
Uy, ba't may hindi pa nagka-ano? Ayan na.
Sorry, Normie.
Sorry, Norman.
Up next, the worst excuse for ditching your date. Float away.
Oh! Hoy, ang hirap.
Parang halos pareho.
I knew
Kaya
it.
yun pala, Tony. Kaya naman pala it's us again. Tayong
Oo.
dalawa na naman ang pinagtapat.
Oo. Very nice
prompt.
lagi yung mga ano namin ni Chai.
Yes.
Song, "Oh, Mommy Kissing Santa Claus."
Journey. Uy, malapit na magpasko. Nakakulong pa rin tayo.
Oh my.
Vermont na.
Lalabas na si Jose Marichan.
Sabi na kay Del yun eh. I knew it. I knew that was Del's.
That's all for round one. Here's the scoreboard.
This is hard.
Del, sabi ng jowa ko, ang kulit-kulit mo daw.
Mild pa yan.
Namiss ka niya.
Kasalanan ni Norman lahat ng pag-jockbox namin eh.
Oo nga eh. Kasalanan ni Norman to eh.
Oy, nag-tong-its pa sila one time, online.
Online tone eats? Hindi ko pa na-try yun.
Oo.
Yes, we did.
Tsaka online now, wolf something. Ano yan? Werewolf. Ayun.
If you can't think of something,
Del, para nahihirapan ka
Oy,
na.
10 seconds, guys!
10 seconds na lang.
Oo,
Oo,
wala
kasalanan
akong
mo yun, Norman. Thank you very
wala akong
much.
maisip. Sorry.
2, 1,
Deadline, deadline, deadline.
first off, an ingredient you definitely shouldn't find in a bottle of water.
Shimmer me?
Hey, use your device.
Oy, wala yung sagot ko. Shimmer me?
Shmarmy.
Yun yung shimmer.
A fly.
Winner.
Prompt is the worst thing to get stuck in your hair.
Ah! Yan, shimmer me daw.
How can you choose? Something about Mary.
Ano? Maaga pa, guys. Maaga pa. May araw pa.
Kakagising ko nga lang eh.
Witness relocation program name.
Ano ito? Ang hirap naman.
Delamar's bankrupt 20 years ago.
That was hard.
What do raccoons digging in your garbage say
Uy, ang
about you?
hirap. What it is.
Vote on your
What is
devices.
up? Ay!
Ay, ang hirap. Ito lang ba ang choices? Oo. At walang pansit canton dito. Tsaka wala masyadong DDS dito.
Oh, you're so very lucky. Pero you have some other DDS level counterpart.
I know, right? I know.
Oh, quick! Quick flash!
Uy, nakakamiss ang pansit canton. Don't do
Padalan
this
ka
to
ba
me.
namin? Padalan ka ba namin ng care package dyan, Del? Nakapansit canton.
Yes, please.
Tapos may chicharon.
Suka.
Oo. Suka.
Yung sukang may sili. Ganun.
Oh my gosh.
Ganito, what did it? Ano ba yan?
The next big craze for Yuppies bottle.
Hirap
Ay.
nyo rin talaga.
Bakit sudden urine?
Difference in the person.
Sabi na talaga si Dean dirty eh. Tingnan mo, siya lang ang pumoto. Dirty Dean!
You dirty girl, you.
Problem with the last Star Wars movie.
I didn't see it the last time.
Uy, ang hirap niyan. Oh.
I didn't get to that.
Because
Ay,
you
you didn't get to
were
watch
not
it.
able to answer the first question,
Oh,
so you were not able to
We've
see
reached the end of round 2. Let's see what happened.
What happened? Did I?
What
Was I a
happened?
loser? Oh my god, I'm a loser. I'm a loser, baby.
Winner ka naman
So
everywhere
why don't
else.
you kill me?
Winner ka naman everywhere. Tama naman si Tony. Winner ka naman everywhere.
This time,
Round 3, everyone gets the same prompt. Oh, really?
Yep. Just we get to choose one from each. Hindi, top 3, no? Top 3 to. Pagka bumoto.
Parang bronze, silver, gold.
And so what's gonna happen? What?
So,
Have
you have to-
complete the
parang
comic,
dudutungan mo
yung
siya.
how can I ever repay you, tapos ikaw yung gagawa ng sagot dun sa isa.
Natatawa na ako. Ang sakit na ng panga ko sa katatawa.
Oh my god. What are our answers?
Din! Din! Din!
Dean! You?
Does it have to be dirty, Din?
Oo nga, it doesn't have to be dirty, Din.
Doesn't have to be
Yoo-hoo!
dirty, Din.
Yeta ka, Din, 4 seconds na lang.
Ayan, top 3. Top 3.
moment of truth.
We choose the top 3.
You pick
round
first your
3,
gold.
gold, silver, and
Gold.
bronze. Have at
Yun na,
it.
tapos silver din bronze.
Ang hirap. It's like
Uy, kaninong number ka?
everything.
Ay, dire-diretso lang pala.
Halos ang daming pare-parehong sagot.
Actually.
Pinoy na Pinoy. Gcash. Pinoy na Pinoy.
Or, ano ka ba? Na-mention ka din ba dun sa mga ganon? At
Ako?
Gcash, Paymaya. Yung mga iba
Ah.
namin follow me
Paymaya.
ganun eh. Yung mga pa-support po. Although, may iba totoo. May iba din na scammer. Yung mga
Totoo.
nagpapa-Gcash for laptop.
Talaga?
Gcash
Grabe
for
naman.
cellphone.
Sa panahon ng COVID.
Oo, because
Yeah.
diba online learning
You got those
channeling
medals.
Barbie.
Yeah.
They want to work at home,
Here.
yung mga ganun.
Mm.
And finally, gold. Medals are nice, but points are even nicer. So,
Visa or MasterCard?
So, kaya palang tagal ni Ding talaga
we're
ibig
done.
ng
Let's see the
birthday.
Oo, eh.
Pinag-isipan niya yun.
Pinag-isipan niya maigi. In fairness,
Congrats,
ikaw lagi na lang ikaw ang nananalo, ha?
Oo, kaya
lagi.
baguhin mo na yung pangalan mo to congratulations.
Hindi ka na cankerat.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Alright.
BI. Miss na rin
Ano?
na yata yung Pansit Canton at
Pandesal.
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 Pandesal kaya kong gawin, pero pansit canton, yun na mahirap.
Oo.
Masarap yung processed at saka yung maraming MSG.
Totoo yan.
Oo, pag
Meron
tinignan mo yung
For the win.
pag tinignan mo yung contents, di ba? 650 ang salt, ang sodium. Ay, my gosh. Yes, bring it on. Bring on the stroke.
Sige, Del, bigay mo sa amin.
Oh
Basta
no!
ako si Kai.
Oo nga, you
Kai,
froze. Don't
Hi,
freeze.
Kapi.
Elsa!
Let it go.
Oo, let it go. Let it go.
Let it go.
Ayan na.
Naghihingalo
Welcome
na
back, Shai. You
yung
were
internet
saying.
ko. Naghihilo na yung internet ko.
Ay, nakakamiss daw yung DLG.
Ay, Lord.
Oo nga.
Oo nga eh.
Miss those.
Ay, nako. Ay, nako.
Kakamiss,
We
sobra.
miss you. Just yun.
So,
Just
we'll go back. We'll go back to asking you a few more questions. Walang gustong magtanong sa'yo from the Peanut Gallery, Del.
Natatakot sila, no? Sabi ko na
Natatakot
eh.
sila, oo.
Feeling ko may fear factor. Ay, fear factor. Oo. Bakit ba ganun ang reputation ko? Nakakainis. Yun ang mga one of the things I hated. Mm-mm.
That people are scared of
RBF?
you.
Oo, kasi wala ka pang ginagawa, takot na sila. Nakaka-visit. Hintayin niya naman.
That's true. Yeah.
Pero
Hintayin nyo naman may gawin muna, di ba?
Ay, nahihiya din daw pati si Norman. Oh, go, Norman.
Norman, how dare you, Norman?
Sa dami ng hirit mo kay Del, nahiya ka pa?
Ngayon ka pa nahiya talaga.
Oo, kayo naman. Oo, hindi. Parang kasi I dropped off the radar for such a long time. Of course, people don't know what to ask me. Like, what do we ask her? What's wrong with her?
Kasi kami, I listen to the Eves almost regularly, lalo na pag nagtatrabaho. Kasi I work nights. Ang hirap ng you stay awake talaga. Pero pag nakikinig ako ng
Jay.
Eves, tumatawa ako o umiiyak.
Oo, nakakaloka siya, di ba? Parang kang pendulum. Left,
Yeah.
right, left, right. Oo, ganun nga. Ganun
It's,
ang drop.
It's a roller coaster of emotion lalo na if you try to listen to multiple episodes straight. Parang, sandali lang. Yung bipolar disorder ko, lumalala.
Oo, hindi mo alam eh.
I need my meds.
Oo, para kang may whiplash, emotional whiplash. Oo, totoo naman.
And I've tried that. I've actually tried listening to I think 5 episodes straight. Tabaliw ako.
Wag masyado. Isa-isa. Konti-konti. Oo, konti-konti.
Sobrang
Ako,
natuwa ko dun sa ang tawag dito, sa Donya. Ni Fran. Gusto niya maging
Donya. Yan ang mga dreams namin. Ako, gusto ko maging trophy wife. Gusto ko
Uy,
maging,
masaya yun, di ba?
yun nga, akala
masaya
ko
yun.
Akala ko, masaya.
Hindi pala.
Trophy.
You need to read the fine print. Housewife where? Because if it's in the US, ay, walang maid.
Boy.
Ikaw lahat.
Dito meron kang donya, meron kang driver.
Saka at least meron kang family members who might actually come to your house and help you out, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
challenge.
Ayan, may tanong na tayong nakuha from Norman, of course. How does it feel to fight off so many trolls?
That question.
Oh my god. Well, I do have very controversial opinions. I never knew that they were controversial to begin with. I mean, come on,
Yeah.
right? Wala. Just I've learned to just ignore them. I realize that Twitter is not meant for conversation. It's
Yeah.
performative. People are performing. So there is no conversation. There is just performing to an audience. And people
Yeah.
who perform to an audience, they're not interested in coming down to the truth. They
Right.
just want to win the audience, right? Kumbaga audience
Right.
impact ang gusto nila. So
Yeah.
I understand now that I just don't pero yung minsan nakakapikon parang okay, that's a slur, that's not an argument. So meron pa yung ano yun, meron pa yung ginawa nila ako ng mga gif. Parang I'm sorry guys. No, but really what I wanted to say was you are so disgusting. You are disgusting only because you can't fight on the level of reason. So,
Right.
gagawa ka na lang ng GIF para feeling mo nakaisa ka. Pero hindi ka nakaisa kasi wala ka namang sinabing tama. Okay?
Yeah.
So, tangina mo. Ganon.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Love it.
Oh, kasi parang, ano ba? We're trying to get to the bottom of an answer here.
Yeah.
And all you have is what? A fucking GIF? Come on. Ganon. Yung ngit-ngit ko talagang sukdulan. Tapos sabi ko, Deb, galit ka.
Why does it trigger you?
Oh, why does it trigger you? Yon. Kaya ever since then, I'm like, okay, that has nothing to do with me. So I'm just gonna say what I need to say. React. Meron kasi, ngayon, pag may sinulat na pro article na pro whatever their side was, itatag nila ako. Oh, itag ko si Delamar. Ganon. Ganon. Parang,
Gosh.
They're
come
provoking you.
oo, pero gusto ko sabihin, look, coward, if you want to fight, let's fight. Okay? If it's gonna be a fight of ideas, let's do it. But if you're just gonna do a cowardly thing, then fuck off.
Yeah.
Okay? I have no
Yeah.
time. I have no time for you. Ganon. Guy! Sabi niya, ang Miss Universe yung answer, I don't know. I would have
Parang
lost
hindi.
the crown. I would have lost the crown by now.
But you would have won, favorite. Crowd favorite.
Crowd favorite.
Tapos trending ka.
Hindi, ako, hindi siguro ako favorite, pero definitely trending kasi kung ano mga sinabi.
Twitter that you can choose who can reply to your tweet.
Yes, I love that.
I saw that like yesterday.
Pang
yata.
starve the trolls.
Oh,
Yeah, they have a new
really?
feature.
Oh, my
You
God.
can select who can respond.
Reply. That is great. That is great. You know,
Yeah.
there's an interview of the owner of Twitter, the CEO of Twitter on Joe Rogan Experience. That's quite something. And Joe Rogan is the king of podcasters, right?
Yeah.
He has 160 million downloads a month, right?
Wow.
And but he bungled up his interview with the CEO of Twitter. So parang everyone came after him and said, dude, why did you let that guy go? I mean, you're the one who can set this guy straight, blah, blah, blah. And I remember thinking, oh my God, no matter how great you are at what you do, there will be bad days. Days where you don't do your job. Not because you didn't really think about it, but kasi ang explanation of Joe Rogan was that he was not thinking of that. So he didn't corner the CEO. Anyway, wala lang, sabi ko, how inspirational that even if you are the top dog of a certain industry, you will have bad days. Tapos ang galing lang kasi when Joe addressed it, he was so humble about it. I loved it. Parang I have never seen anybody react that way to a critique. And a good critique. Pero it's playing out to so many millions of people around the world. And yet there was no ego in him. He just said, you know, maybe we'll just have him on another day. Parang, oh my God. You are teaching me even when you don't think you're teaching me. Ganon.
Maganda nga yun.
Andyan si Ina, nakakamiss daw yung mga ganitong face-to-face. Ang hirap kasi dumalaw. Totoo naman. Ang hirap
Yuta.
dumalaw sa
Oo.
Yuta. Dati, far view lang, madaling kunan ng visa. Ngayon, Yura.
Hindi, binisita mo ba? Oo, binisita niya ako sa Fairview. Pero binisita rin niya ako sa Taguig.
Arya, oo.
Oo, sa Taguig.
I did too.
With
Yes,
all the
I know.
appliances.
Oo,
Yeah.
yung bago ko umalis, di ba?
Yes.
Yes.
Nung kinuha yata ni Ina yung ref.
Ref.
Oh, ang
Yeah.
ganda nung, alam mo, Ina, kamusta ang ref? Ganda-ganda ng ref.
Di
Oo,
ba din
but,
ikaw din? Meron kang
Jean, did you
boots
get
from
anything?
Delamar.
What did you get?
I did
Wala
not.
yata.
I wasn't able to go
Wala.
up nung time
So
na
si
yun.
Ina lang talaga.
Ina lang talaga,
Oo.
oo. Kasi parang 'di ba we had lunch with you Del noon sa Tim Hoan sa Mega
Oo.
Mall,
Mega
Yes,
Mall.
'di ba?
yes.
And then Dean wasn't able to join us. So she went to see
Ayan,
you na
nagkita
lang
naman siya.
the following
Oh,
day.
no.
I think after ba ng exams mo yun, Dean? Kasi parang nag-inuman tayo afternoon after you went to Del.
Oo,
Diba?
nag-Starbucks tayo, di ba? Tama ba? We did Starbucks in Aria.
We Starbucks, yeah.
Area?
Mm-mm.
Area?
Area. Like Delamar areas.
Areas. Areas.
Areas.
Areas.
Her family.
The Urs.
Gusto niya yung ref, sabi ni Ina.
Buksan na daw yung ref.
At gusto daw niya.
Ganda-ganda nun eh. It's so pleasing to the eyes.
Nakita ko siyang ganda nga niya. Ang laki niya.
Oo. Ang laki niya, oo.
Maganda yung malaki, no? Talaga. Char.
Hindi, wala kasi. Ang hirap lang, wala kasi siyang
Mahilig
water
sa malaki?
dispenser. Oo, kailangan Kailangan malaki sa amin.
Because ang dami nyo.
Oo.
Din, iba na naman ang iniisip.
Sex starved.
Oo nga, lagi naman yung ganyan
Actually.
May question si Norman. Kahit na banned siya.
Do
Do
you miss
some? Grabe ka sa some. Hindi ba pwedeng everyone? Like lahat?
hindi pwedeng lahat.
Ay, okay.
No, it's bad. Sometimes you don't really get along with some people, so you can't miss them.
Hindi ba pwedeng all?
Like,
Sana all. Sana oil. No, but
China oil.
China oil. No, but I do miss that. Well, the show was the show, right? It was like this entity, and then there's another part of it which was really the basis of the show. What people don't know is the show is built on the listeners. Like I would say 70% of what the show is the listeners. Kasi pag hindi maganda yung sagot ng top 10, it's not a good day, right?
Yeah.
But I knew that some of the listeners had wanted to make us laugh. Had wanted to make the hosts laugh. And you could feel it. Even if you've never met them, they were just so good. And I loved the idea that for 3 hours, 3 or 4 hours, ganun yung dynamic nung community of rushers. And that's the gift of the morning rush, which, in COVID times, that's really something you can lean on, something that makes you still laugh, diba? What a gift.
And it also gave a lot of us the gift of friendship. Like what I said this during the podcast with Gino then, na it gave us the opportunity to have friends outside of the normal circle that we would usually be in. And that, I think, is one of the most precious gifts that the Morning Rush has given the rushers. It's the ability to connect with people like minds.
Yeah.
Na from different types of background, you would never have thought that you would actually be able to meet. And then you click. And then this wonderful friendship just starts from there. And it happened to a lot of us.
Yes. So many groups from the 90s. As in, meron pang time ng 90s na every Saturday, everybody would come, right? But then, so Chico and I, without having talked about it, we knew that the hour left. So, normally kasi 3-hour shift. Tapos, pero gusto ng station, 4 hours ka nandun. So, you do your 3-hour shift and then 1 hour, you just stay. And Chico and I had decided then we're going to spend 1 hour talking to rushers. After all, they've come. to spend their Saturday morning with us. And so, long after naging 4-hour show na, so wala na kaming dapat extra hour, di ba? We still did it. We still stayed on an extra hour. Especially, well, kaming dalawa kasi we kind of understood him. A lot of our communication was never verbalized. The rules that we ended up observing were never actually articulated. Parang nakita ko kailangan niya to, gagawin ko. Nakita niya kailangan ko to, gagawin niya. It was really just like a dance, you know? It was like a dance. And I love that idea na every Saturday may mga darating, tapos chika 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 chika, may mga pagkain, may asaran, may ganon. It was, I have never seen anything like that since. And it's true. That is the gift of one of the gifts of the morning rush: laughter and friendship.
Yeah.
Totoo.
Sobrang nga.
Nakakamiss daw yung mga EB. Sabi ni
Oo.
more.
Well, pero di ba may mga EB pa rin? Or kasi nga wala na dahil sa COVID. Oo.
COVID. Pero I think they
Yeah.
they get to join the episodes or the show.
The show,
FB
every
Live.
now and then.
I
Sa
Kami
FB
FB
Live.
Live na.
Hindi na ako
Hindi ko na
makakapakinig.
makakabot.
Kasi sleep time ko na yun eh.
Ako din.
Nagtatrabaho pa ako noon eh.
Okay, right.
Pero I do
So,
catch minsan the last hour. Paparamdam. Pero hindi nakaka-entry. Parang hindi na kaya ng brain ko.
Oo, masyado nang loaded. Diba?
Yeah.
True.
May nagpapa-shoutout si Felix Owen Dela Cruz.
Hello, Felix. How are you, Felix?
Uy, naalala ko, di ba nagsisexy greets pag birthday?
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Oh my God. Well, what was I thinking? Really? Oh, sexy greets. You know, sometimes people would post like a snippet of an old episode, and then they would tag me on Twitter. And some days, pag sobra akong interested dun sa topic, talagang I click it. I go to Spotify and then I download it and listen to it. You know, it's really weird to hear your younger self talking about life. And I was like, what do you know? No, what do you know? But it's so funny that sometimes as I'm talking in the podcast, in the episode, I'm saying something to answer the question. Tapos yun din yung sagot ko. Ganun pa rin. Oo.
Nakakatuwa.
May...
We love the classic.
Yeah.
Oo.
Yung ang hirap hanapin ng classics na ngayon eh. Yung...
Oh, just type it. Just type it. On Apple Podcast, I just put the Morning Rush Classic.
Nandun pa siya sa Apple Podcast.
Nasa Apple Podcast pa siya. Pero there are episodes that are not there anymore. I think from 2013 yata or 2014. Basta there are missing episodes eh. Eh minsan yung missing episodes yun yung
masaya.
Oo.
Tsaka gusto ko yung pati news naging kumbaga kasi usually news is what people skip, right? On an FM radio show. People don't want to listen to it. But for some reason, the news became part of the podcast kasi may conversation na nangyayari doon, diba? Galing.
Kami asaran kayo doon.
May asaran. Ganun. Oo nga naman.
May echo din. Like right
May,
now.
sino yung echo?
Hindi yata.
May asaran. At saka parang dati parang okay lang. Kahit hindi na kayo mag-play ng song. Sige lang. Kayo.
I
Mga
remember,
ganong moments. Ay, magsasong. Char.
I remember it very, very, very long time ago. I think it was the 90s. Na talagang wala masyadong chikahan. Diba? It was just mostly music. And then you would be the one to do the newscast. And then that's when it started evolving into a conversation. Hindi pa nga conversation, binubuli ka ni Chico. Inaasaran kayo. Na parang, ano pa yun di ba? You mentioned pa nga na you were so surprised. Parang Chico got surprised na you were able to fire back sa pang-aasar niya. And I think, and that was where it all started. Naging talk show siya.
Yeah, it was known to be parang the show that where people fought. I
Yeah.
ang criticism, curiously enough, it was the criticism and the compliment. It's the same. People who fight
Mm-mm.
and people who laugh. Kasi
Right.
prior to us, nobody laughed like that on FM radio. It
Yeah.
was too
Yeah.
unglamorous. People didn't do that. Pero yung
Yeah.
mga tawanan na buka ka, alam mo yung hiyang-hiya ka na kasi hindi ka na makahinga, iyak-iyak ka na. Tapos may mga moment, mga 3-second silence. Tapos maririnig mo nang humihinga si Chico na parang, gano'n, di ba?
Naghahabol ng hininga.
Oo, naghahabol na siya ng hininga. So, total, malapit lang naman kami sa medical city, so okay lang. May mga ganon. I remember that now that I'm in this stage of life, I think about those days and I'm like, I had so much fun. It was
Yeah.
illegal.
I
Yeah.
think na,
Fun na- fun na-
may censorship pa yun.
Oo.
Oh.
Diba?
Tapos fun na on air, fun din off air.
Off
Kaya
air.
masaya din na magpunta sa booth.
Oo, pero hindi, yung ganon na fun off-air, hindi yun nangyari madalas. Especially at the beginning because people didn't know how to talk to us. So later on, nung nalaman na nila how to talk to us, kasi syempre pag nakikinig ka sa Morning Rush, ay feeling mo si Chico ganito, si Del ganito. Pagdating mo sa booth, oh my God, ang tahimik nila. Oh my God, ayaw nilang tumingin sa aming mga mata. What people don't
Pressure po kami.
yeah, but what people didn't understand was we were loners. We were like we were not social people. So what was happening on air between the two of us happened precisely because we were alone. Physically, although people were listening. So when somebody else comes in na bago, syempre parang hindi ko to kilala. Pero ikaw kilalang kilala kanila. Pero sila sa'yo, I don't know you from Adam. I don't know you at all. So I don't know if you're a psycho or if you're a friend. You know, you just never. And trust me, we had psychos. We had many psychos. Okay? So, meron din kami nung praning side na parang pag may pumasok sa booth, parang hindi lang nila napapansin, nagtitiginan kami ni Chico. Pag meron kami mga signs na oo, kasi mas lalo na pag weirdo, alam na namin kasi we don't look at each other that much pag off-air. Tapos pag a few times na mag-meet yung eyes namin, ganun. Alam na namin yun. Alam na. Tsaka ako, tapos pag umalis na yung bisita na yon, when we start talking, we have exactly the same thought. And it was like, it was hilarious. I wish that there was like Instagram Live at the time. Kasi that would have been another extension of the show. When people come in. Oh, and like, you know, especially yung awkwardness namin na hindi naman kasi kami sociable. Eh. We don't know how to do this, you know? So, when you're trying to make a conversation with a total stranger, it's so stressful. Kung pwede lang ako mag-hives ako talaga. Pero yung when you try and then they leave and then gusto mo mag-Instagram, like, oh my God. I actually had an adult conversation with a stranger. You know, we were the least expected people to do the morning rush. It should have been people who were more like, you know, who were more popular or who were more like outgoing, at least, at the very least. Pero yung nakuha nila, mga antisocial.
Sakto
Alam
naman
ko,
for the
ano,
crazy listeners din.
Yeah. First time ko pumasok ng TMR booth, talagang pagpasok, tulungan lang kami. Oy, pwede ba tayo mag-ingay?
Bumubulong siya
Hindi
sa
na,
akin.
tsaka
Kasi
si
ako
Chay.
yung bumubulong siya sa akin.
Oo.
Kasi hindi ko sabi ko, oo.
Actually, hindi ko rin alam kung paano natutunan ng listener na pag nag-on yung mic, tahimik lahat. Dapat the only people heard talking are the hosts. We never explained that to people, but for some reason, when they entered the booth, because of exposure after a few times, they understood now once the mic was on, the sound in the booth disappears, right? And that's when you know you have to shush. And only the hosts have to talk. Kung meron man, pag tinanong. Diba?
Mm-mm.
Pero all of that, we didn't have to talk about it. Parang everybody knew where to go. Like, this is the line for this. This is the line for this. This is what you do here. This is what you do not do to Chico and Del. Parang, I don't know how people knew it, but it was just amazing. It was nice. It was really
It,
nice.
I honestly think it's because of the amount of respect that the rushers has for not just the show but for you guys as well. So ayaw nilang makadisrupt because we know that it's your work and that everybody needs to act professional because it's your place of work. And I think it stems from that there's just this immense amount of respect that goes with the show and with you guys.
Yeah, that's great because it was never said. It was never explicitly expressed, but somehow people just knew. Except for some mga pasaway here and there, but on the whole, it was like a really
Kami ba
great.
yun?
Yeah.
Pag pinapakinggan ko parang ang mature sobra ng rushers pag on air, sabi ni Ina.
Oh, really? Pero sa totoong buhay, immature.
Pero there were
may
moments
shows,
na rinig
diba,
na rinig
na
yung
tumatawa
tawanan
kami.
Oo, rinig yung tawanan.
Lalo kung yung mga entries, sobrang kailangan itawid ni Chico. Ganon.
Sorry, whose fan is that? There's a fan on?
Ano yun, si Dean yan. Si Dean.
Malamang. Kasi ako wala ko electric fan.
Palaging si Dean eh, no?
Today.
Oh, sorry, hindi ko ma-contain. Kasi syempre, the DJ in me, ay, may
Ang sensitive sa tenga. Oo. We
Oo,
each have
alam
our
mo.
moments.
Nakabili na ng phone stand yan eh. Dati bigla-bigla na lang
Oo,
bumabagsak.
bigla na lang nalalagay.
Habang
Bigla makikita mo gumagano na lang. Tapos iba na yung nakakita mo
Iba
sa
na yung
screen. Si
nakikita
Din
mo.
din yun.
Nung online concert namin siya yung delayed. May 5 seconds delay. Hinihintay namin siya salita.
Oo.
Nag-exit na kami. Tapos kami lahat magpakilala. Hinintay siya ni Tony kasi si Tony pa yung magpapakilala. So lahat kami, ding, ding, ding. 5 seconds na. 5 seconds na.
Jeff! Tapos kami, Din.
Pati sa podcast, nangyayari yun.
Pero alam mo, podcasting is it's a real deal of an art form, and you really need to understand what makes it good.
Yeah.
And ang galing kasi once you listen to many podcasts, you see there are 1,000, maybe 1,000,000 ways to do this, and pero may kita mo yung pleasurable sa tenga eh. You just know it, and then it's nice kasi when they hit that, parang the listener is lost in the listening.
Right.
If you don't do it right, the listeners are like, ano ba to? Bakit ganyan? Ba't ganon? And then they're forced to be a producer, kind of. So when you do the job right, they just enjoy the content and don't understand what goes on in producing it. So,
yeah.
Oh. Thank you, Jude.
Oo nga. Na kahit lagi may time limit na 30 minutes at 1 hour.
Oh my
plus
God,
per
nakakatawa
hour.
yun. Nakakatawa like the last
Thank
time.
you, Jude.
Nakakatawa like the last time.
Start pa lang.
Oo, start pa lang, nag-goodbye na kami. Kasi alam namin na yung goodbye namin mga 45 minutes. So, tama. Okay?
Nakakatawa nga kasi parang naka-isang oras na kayo. Saka niyo pag-discuss yung topic.
Hindi kasi lahat yon. Alam mo yung pag lumabas yung inspiration, ayan na.
Yes.
Oo, tapos patapos na dapat kasi isang oras lang. And then we have these great ideas seem to come on the 45th minute and we're about to say goodbye. I mean, come on.
Right.
Oh.
Uy, Coco Hernandez. Hi, Coco.
Uy, Coco.
Hi, Coco. Uh-oh, Coco. Her voice and thought are just magical. Oh,
Totoo.
Coco. Ano ba kayo?
Siyempre, we miss you. We miss you, Adel.
We miss you a lot.
Alam mo, natutuwa ako kasi every time, like just on my IG or wherever, and people just say, hey, we miss you. Parang, really? Why?
Oh,
Why? Oo,
pressure you.
okay. Because
Bakit?
I'm you. Oo, pero
No.
hindi, syempre magugulat ka pa rin talaga. Kasi, in the industry, para siyang conveyor belt eh. Pag umalis ang isa, may papalit. O, ganun talaga yun eh. And even in movies, di ba? It's just a revolving door. So when people still remember what you brought to the table and somehow they feel like, hey, I miss the Del dish. Parang ganon. It's very, very flattering. And people have no idea. Especially coming from me na alam ko yung, how it goes in the industry. It's very flattering, to be honest.
Kasi pioneer ka, Del.
Hoy! Tangina mo, hindi ako ganun katanda.
Ara! It's an honor.
Yung mga, sorry, but yung mga katagang pioneer, legend,
Yes.
institution. Tumahimik kayo! Pero when I see my driver's license, I go, oh yeah, that's right. I miss
Mura
it.
ni Del.
Well, hindi, alam mo kasi magaling magmura yung daddy ko dati eh. Magaling siya. I grew up in a household like that. Yung talagang malutong. Yung gano'n.
Yung pwede mo isaw-saw sa suka, no?
Yes!
Oo.
Kasi, kaya hindi rin, pero it's so funny because I never really started cussing until I was maybe after I became a mom.
Really?
It didn't feel comfortable. Only behind the wheel when I'm driving. But other
yun.
than that,
Yun talaga naisip ko.
pero yung I can't even say fuck. It was like I would die before I say the word. You know what I mean? Pero, I guess as you get older, you try to, try different things. And I realized when I cuss, it's like, oh my God, that felt good.
Yes, it does.
Oh my. It's like, and here's what I find. Like, people who fight with you or people who curse or people who get angry in front of you. And as much as sometimes ang hirap na parang, bakit ka ba galit at ako ang pinagbubuntuan mo? Yeah, that's the first, right?
Yeah.
But when you really get past that and you really think about it, when people fight with you, like people you love, people, your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, all of these people are so honest.
Yes.
Yeah.
They come to the fighting
Out of
table.
love.
Well, I don't know what it's out of, but definitely there's honesty. Because when they're fighting with you, they're hurt.
Yeah.
Nobody fights like a hurt person. And you can already see like just the depth of emotion. So I'm kind of wary now. Wary ako sa mga taong ayaw magsalita ng who don't cuss or who never own up to their anger or
Yeah.
disappointment because there's a pressure building up inside.
Yeah.
And they're never able to let it out. And I don't know who's going to pay for it someday, but somebody will, So
Yeah.
in a way, you can look at it that way. Na parang if somebody's fighting with you and feeling so hurt or cussing you out. But there's a study that said people who cuss are honest or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's true because if you're already saying bad words, it's taboo. But you still do it, it means you're so angry or you're so fully emotionally charged that you don't care if you break the rules.
Yeah.
There has to be some honesty there. It doesn't mean it's always right. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
But at the very least, there's honesty. They're not hiding their true feelings anymore. They're letting you know.
May tanong si Ina, American na rin daw ba yung pagmumura mo pag nagde-drive ka dyan? Or tipong, yung kalawas ka dito! Like, what you did sa truck driver.
Tagalog pa rin ba?
Well, first of all, there aren't as many, instances like that. It's not like the Philippines. It's like Manila is like a pressure cooker. Like everything you do, you line up at the bank, galit ka. You want to drive through traffic, galit ka. Pagdating mo sa cinema, everyone is just like in a pressure cooker. So I come here and everyone is just so nice.
Oh.
Oh my God, in a four-way stop with no traffic light. Everybody stops. Everybody waits. The first one to arrive at this intersection is the first one to go. There's
Sana all!
yeah, there isn't even a cop in sight. And
Yeah.
people do what they need to do. And then, in a school zone, for example. So pag may eskwelahan, tas malapit ka na. May mga crossings for the kids, right? So
Right.
merong light yan. As you approach that light, you're supposed to drop 20 miles per hour.
Mhm.
So, kung ang speed limit is 35, kahit walang cop, pag nakita mong flashing light, everybody slows down to 20. Kahit may bata or wala.
Mm-mm.
And it's crazy to me because I'm a Filipino. I'm like, what do you mean I can't go fast? There's nobody in front of me. It's like space. I need to occupy it.
Mm-mm.
Kasi yun yung thinking mo sa Pilipinas, di ba?
Right.
And yet here, everybody just slows down. Everybody gives way. Mga roundabout is so easy. It's not like the Quezon Circle. It's insane. Kasi di ba ang Quezon Circle ganyan eh, di ba?
Oo.
Pag nagmamaneho ka, parang kung Katoliko ka, mag-sign of the cross ka na kasi hindi mo alam kung
Hindi mo
lalabas ka
alam
ng safe.
kung Oo. Totoo yun.
Pero dito, it's so funny kasi, syempre, roundabout, diba? Rotonda.
Right.
So, kahit gano'n siya kabilis papasok, pag nauna ka, titigil siya eh.
Mm-mm.
Whatever happens, he will give way. And it's syempre, as a Filipino, oh my God, what?
Unheard of here.
Oo, parang gusto mo sabihin, this is how it should be.
Yeah.
Beautiful, mom.
Pero napag-google ako dun sa 20 miles per hour. 32 kilometers. Hindi talaga nag-work yung miles sa utak ko.
Oo. Pero ang galing niyan kasi when you do like for example, you go on the freeway, they're doing 80. They're doing 75. So you think it's just 70. No, dude. That's like almost 150, 140 kilometers per hour. That's how fast. Yeah. That's why they need to wear seatbelts.
Oh.
Yeah.
Kasi sa
Kasi they
EDSA,
go too fast.
yes. You cannot. Oo.
Kasi sa EDSA, you cannot on EDSA. Diyos ko.
Pwede ka pa nga.
Makakagalaw ka ba dun?
Hindi, pwede ka pa nga mag-needlework sa EDSA eh.
Oo. Unless may laban ng boxing si Pacquiao. Yon, pwede.
Oo, pwede. But, you know,
Nagki-clear yung EDSA. Pero normally,
otherwise, no. Oo, nakakaloka siya.
Kahit nga ngayon quarantine na walang public transport, traffic sa
May traffic
EDSA.
pa rin.
Would you believe?
so this week pumapasok pa ako. Madaling araw ang pasok ko kasi my shift starts at 1 a.m. Would you believe na papasok ng BGC, ang dami pa rin sasakyan. Sinusundo ako 12. That and MECQ, pero grabe, ang dami pa rin sasakyan pumapasok sa BGC, which I don't understand at that time of the day during MECQ, bakit marami pa rin sasakyan sa kalsada.
At 1
At saka
a.m.
at 1 a.m. And I can see C5 from my window. Madaling araw while I'm working, I would see cars still passing through na parang, hindi pa talaga natatahimik MECQ.
Wala. O paano
Oh,
ba?
tsaka-
Yung mga
wala
buses
silang
and
pahinga.
jeeps and everything.
Oo.
Tsaka it's like a sea of traffic lights, of brake lights, right? Although
Yep.
all those reds, depending on where you're looking at it, either red or headlights.
Yeah.
Hindi ko, so it's been a year since I've had that.
You miss it?
Hindi, but it's not the missing. It's like when I hear Americans, gripe or complain about their traffic. It's like I have to roll my eyes. Like, are you freaking serious? Like, are you serious? Do you know that it takes us hours
Oo.
to go even just
From one
less than
city
10
to another.
kilometers? Oh, less than 10 kilometers. Pero, so I talked about it with a friend of mine, and I realized that it doesn't matter. It just matters what you're accustomed to.
Yeah.
So if you're accustomed to a lot of hardships, you're kind of really good. Kasi ang tigas mo eh. Kaya mo eh. And then people who've had their lives so easy will have such a hard time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oo. Well, yeah. Ganun. Hey.
Di
Sabi
ba?
nga ni Coco, manood ka nga lang ng balita, galit na ka na. Paano pa
Tot-
kapag lumabas ka?
Oo, totoo yan. Ako
Totoo.
nga nandito eh. Pag yung first,
Diba?
True.
Ang layo mo.
yung pag first bungad ko, and then Tyler already told me like on the third day, he told me, you need to stop looking at the news. And syempre, there's a part of me like, what do you mean? My country is suffering, you know? And I want to do that. But then he goes, no, because you don't see it, but your whole aura is down.
Mm-mm.
And it doesn't, it's okay normally, but you're the center of our home life. Like if mom's not okay, nobody's going to be okay. And when I realized that, oh shit, oo nga no. Ako yung parang lahat eh. Tyler comes to me. Cooper comes to me. You know, all so I am, for all intents and purposes, the center of this universe. And I need to be okay. Kasi kung hindi, talaga minsan, yung pag pikon na ako, yung PhilHealth,
Oh my
Oh
God.
yeah. Oh yeah, yes.
hindi kasi
Lantaran yun.
syempre. Hindi, tsaka, unang-una, you know, pag nagkasakit ka, it can wipe you out.
Yeah.
You know, if a serious illness, and I've had this in my life 2 times. Like, you know, yung kikita mo yung bank account mo pababa na pababa na pababa. Seryoso siya eh. So some people go into PhilHealth to save their family from exactly that.
Yeah.
So ang gagawin nila, magtatabi sila ng pera para doon. Inaasahan mo yun eh, 'di ba?
Yeah.
Oh, tapos biglang
Ganyan.
what?
Oo.
And
Diba?
I don't understand why this is not okay. No, this is not okay. Kahit baligtarin natin ang mundo, mali ito. Meron kayong yung mga tao na nagpupundar, yan din yung mga taong hindi ganun ka well off. Kasi yung maraming
Right.
ang pera, 'di ba? Ang dali lang yan eh.
Need it.
Or kahit na sabi mong hindi madali, kaya nila eh. They can get it
Yeah.
somewhere. Maybe they'll have to sell a property or a car, you know. Pero on the whole, the people who are into it need that money. And we're not talking like pang Coke or pang cheeseburger. No, dude, it can
No.
save a family. And so when you see the news like that, talagang gusto mong kulang kung meron ka lang yung samurai sword. Yeah! Buti na lang wala kang ganon kasi 'di ba? Baka kung sino-sino mga nasaktan.
Oo. Correct.
Oo. Actually,
Pero
tinanong ko
kung
din yung
nakakamatay
HR
nga lang
namin.
yung pagmumura sa kanila, ay, marami nang patay sa kanila.
Tinanong ko nga din si HR, sabi ko, so dahil ba dyan sa thing ng PhilHealth, kailangan pa rin ba namin mag-contribute? Sabi niya, it's mandatory.
Mandatory siya.
Oo.
Mandatory! Pero
Mandatory
saan
siya.
napupunta?
Mandatory
Hindi
siya.
naman kami nakikinabang dyan. My gosh, nakakagalit. And the
Ah.
other frustrating part of it is, may ambag tayong lahat sa PhilHealth, pero guys, bakit kami lang yung nagagalit? Bakit kayo hindi?
I really couldn't understand why. But then, you know, after all my, like I told you, I've been watching lectures, etc. More and more every day, people like you and me get our news somewhere else. And there are people who get news from places or organizations that are more interested in defending people.
Yeah.
They're not interested in the news. They're just interested in either defending, spin doctoring, you know, and so ang reality nila iba sa alam mo. So kung ang facts mo iba sa facts nila, away talaga kayo. No wonder people hate each other. Everybody hates each other. It's as if parang it's enough for you to know na iba ang political leanings ng isang tao sa'yo. Galit ka na agad. Ay, masama kang tao. And yun lang ang I refuse to fall in that trap. Because I know so many good people who think differently than I do. And when I really think about it, it's not because that they're bad. Hardly. Sa totoo lang, akala natin lahat ng tao ang sasama. No, I really think a lot of people want to do the right thing. So why aren't we all doing the right thing? Because trust me, there's no one right thing.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, so yeah. Mga nakakalokang ano,
True.
nakakalokang Hey! Okay.
Moments.
Oh my
Diba? I
God,
mean,
Del.
nakakaano talaga siya.
Hoy, nakaka 2 hours 44 na tayo. Saan napunta
Oo
ang
nga,
Yan na
panahon?
nga.
Oo.
Parang
Kasi
ano,
Parang,
parang
parang,
lumipas lang.
mm, ganyan,
Nakakamiss ka
ganyan,
kasi.
ganyan ang feeling ko yung 20 years sa radyo. Ganyan. Yung parang, ha? 20 years na po? Saan po napunta?
Mm-mm.
Parang yung contribution namin sa PhilHealth. Hindi,
So
pero
true.
that's really a testament to how much fun you're having when you
Yeah.
don't realize.
Yeah.
I know it's a cliche, but it really is the truth. Like,
Mhm.
I would never think that those were 2 decades that I spent on the radio show. But I realized, oh my God, but it is.
Mm-mm.
It is. And it's like, who does 20 years without feeling it? I certainly didn't. And I'm so glad I didn't because it meant I had so much fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
because you're having fun, parang ramdam din naming lahat yung fun.
Yeah.
So, nag-enjoy
Oo.
din kami
Oo.
with you guys.
Oo, yung mga
Wow.
mali-mali naming sinasabi, di ba? Dati. Maraming ganun eh. And then you realize you get old and you're like, oh shit, what was I thinking? That was wrong. That was immature. That was like, very selfish, egocentric, di ba? Time
Yeah.
flies when you're having fun. Yes, indeed.
Yes.
So true.
Yes, that is so true. And
Ano,
my,
hindi kayo afraid?
Thinking
Sige.
natin dati.
Yan.
Iba pa yung thinking natin dati compared sa ngayon na mas marami na tayong alam. Kaya parang ngayon, tatawanan na lang natin kung paano tayo mag-isip dati.
I wonder sometimes, like, if we were all together, like doing what we did 20 years ago, how would we sound now? And how would the listeners listen to us now? Like, iba na tayo, iba na kayo, iba na rin yung host. Marami nang nagbago. Pero ano kaya ang tunog? Ano kaya ang flavor kung ngayon yun nangyayari? Like, that would be so interesting. Diba?
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
but, that will have to be left in the field of imagination.
Yeah.
Oo. Tapos na eh, di ba? Ang layo na natin eh.
Oo nga eh.
Oo. Tsaka iba-iba na yung concerns. Hindi na, kumbaga, it was our youth that allowed us to all go around the radio
Oo.
show.
Yep.
Kasi wala pa tayo masyadong obligation. Di ba?
Yeah.
True.
Wala pa tayo masyadong midlife crisis.
Yes.
oh.
Oh my God.
And at the time, we could still joke about the biological clock ticking. Diba?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I feel so attacked.
I remember that.
Pero umuusog ang panahon. So, okay na. Diba? Iba na yung concerns natin. But I always wonder, like, I wonder how it would be. Like, if we were to do the show today, knowing just how many minefields there are of a topic, right?
Yeah.
Pero the one thing I loved about the show was every time there was a controversy, a question, I knew that any conversation that would happen on the show would be enlightening.
Mm-mm.
We would be talking about it starting from point zero. We didn't know where we were going, but we were going to go and find our way to an answer somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the discovery that I think the show gave, not just to the listeners, but certainly to the hosts. Because we never knew. People always think, oh, you guys are so mature. No, it's happening in real time.
Yeah.
We're tackling the same questions right now, right here. And we don't always know the answer. But for some reason, being together with the many points of view, one of the things naalala ko, si Oscar de la Hoya.
Oscar de la Hoya.
Mm.
Meron siyang entry one time and his entry was like, just wait for your turn. If you're sad about your life, wait for your turn. And I thought about it and I'm like, dude, this guy is such a genius. I love this idea. It's true. It's not always your time. And sometimes it's time for you to step back. And sometimes you're ahead of the pack. Wait for your turn. Kasi, diba? I mean, if we've ever learned anything, all the it girls are now fading away into private life,
Yeah.
doing something else. So
Mm-hmm.
there
Yeah.
will be,
Days and all.
yeah, and a turn will have to be had by new it girls now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So wait for your turn. I like it. So yung mga ganong moments on the show that it sticks out every once in a while when I'm reminded and somebody says something about the past, I go, wow, it was such an honor to be part of it. And people say, okay, you're the host, la la la. No, you can't take it apart. The show is the show.
Mm.
And it was like full. You can't
Yeah.
just have the hosts. You have to have the listeners. You can't just have the
Mhm.
listeners. You've got to have those talkies, those damn talkies.
We love those talkies.
We love those stuff.
Nakaka-pressure
Yeah.
yun kasi araw-araw bago yung gagawin mo. No, kasi sa totoo lang, if you did that here, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, they would charge you an arm and a leg. The people who were coming up with the scripts. Like, not the script, but the way kasi we did it on the show was we were given a kind of a script, but we would change it every day. The way you get into it is different every day. Nakakapagod yun.
Mhm.
But for some reason, it was just the rule of the game. Just what we wanted. And an advertising, a 1 minute, 2 minute advertising gig, we knew that we had to make it fun. Otherwise, people are not going to listen because there were so many of them. But if you make it fun, then they're in it for the ride.
Mm-mm.
So,
Right.
and we did this all without talking to each other. We just knew. As we kept doing it, we understood, oh, this is fun. Oh, we're going to do it again tomorrow? Okay, let's make it fun. Yeah, ganon. Tapos may isang milk brand, ang tagal, parang 2 years sila. Ang hirap biguhin ng script. 2 years. 2 years na po! 2 years na po! Baguhin na po natin. Oo. Diba? And that's the
Naubusan na ng
challenge.
pantokis.
2 years? Umabot siya ng 2 years? Kasi ang dati, ang advertiser sa Morning Rush, nakapila. Did you guys know that? Nakapila sila kasi pag natapos ang contract ng isang brand, the next brand
May
wants
bago.
in. Eh, pag
Right.
nag-renew yon, galit yung mga nakapila kasi,
Oo.
oo, ang haba ng hair namin ni Chico noon. Oh,
Mm.
oh my God. Sandali lang po. Sandali lang po.
Super busy nyo nun, no? Na parang ang dami yung nasa logbook
Yeah.
and all the
Hindi lang
things
yon.
that
After
you
we do the
pile
show,
up. Mm-mm.
after we do the
May
show, we would
hosting
have
pa.
meetings. No, wala pa.
Right.
Oh.
May mga meeting ka pa with clients and then you have to tell them how yung mga ganon yung it was like and when people say it's so easy. Oh really? Really? It's easy?
You make it sound easy.
Yeah, you guys just make it look and sound easy, but it's a lot of spinning plates that you have to
Yes,
balance.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one. And well, it's a good thing na yung growth kasi nun konti pa konti, palaki lang palaki ng palaki. Ganon. So at least meron kang you got to understand, 'di ba?
Yeah.
The flow and then kumbaga pabigat ng pabigat, pero sige kaya mo every day. Okay, kaya. May strength training kumbaga. But anyway, I missed your faces. I can't believe it. But I know you're just online, but it's so nice to see all of you together. Because when Tony messages me and when Kang posts on IG, I never get to interact with you. I mean, if you do post something, I react to it or I repost it hours later. But now it's nice because we're doing it on real time.
Yeah.
Oo nga, nakakamiss.
Oo,
Diba?
maraming salamat sa inyong pag-anyaya sa akin.
Yes.
At maraming salamat sa pagpapag-unlock sa aming
Matagal na tayo. Okay.
Oo, ang
Ay,
saya.
meron isa akong pahabol kay Del. I just realized a few days ago that your brother was a classmate of mine in UP College Baguio.
Mars.
Yes.
Wow, small world.
Yes, na-realize kasi I think I saw your post na nandun. Sabi ko, familiar yung face niya. Tapos, oo nga pala. He was classmate of mine. He was part of the international block sa UB Baguio. I think he was there for a year lang bago.
Yeah, first year niya Baguio. Oo, yeah, si Mars.
Diba?
Akala ng mga tao, younger sister ako. Oo, I'm the younger sister. Hey, older brother mo ba si Mars? Sabi ko, yes. Are you talking about my kuya? Or kuya? Oo. Oo, si Mars. Oo, nakakatuwa siya kasi sa Twitter, sabi niya sa akin, ano yan? I think we need you more than you need us. Sabi niya. Namimiss niya yung ate niya. Okay. Sabi ko, okay, why are you mushy on Twitter? This is awkward. This is so awkward. I don't know what to do with my hands.
So sweet.
Yeah, that's my brother.
So
We
then,
miss you
anyway,
so much.
we miss you so much.
Mm-mm.
Hindi na natupad yung wine day drinking natin na dapat
Oo.
gagawin natin before. I'm so sorry.
Oo.
Um,
Sayang yun.
but at least we got the chance to spend time with you today, and thank you for
And
being
catch
such a
up.
good sport.
I'm so happy.
We love you. Ayaw matapos ng mga rushers. Show.
Alam mo, yung pinanghihinayangan mo na wine night, I don't know what you're talking about because I'm drinking.
I was too.
Tony, the drinkers
Yes.
are here. Well, I hope you guys stay safe. Please be very, very careful.
You too.
Yeah, and take care. And I hope I see you guys and well wishes on the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Keep doing
Thank
it.
you so
It's gonna help you weather through these COVID times we find ourselves.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oo.
keeps us sane.
it does. It keeps us safe.
As,
It does
as
keep
she,
us safe.
as she laughs crazily into the
Yeah.
microphone, it keeps us sane.
Kasi wala nang sanity na ikikip eh.
I've given up, dude. I'm
Yeah.
crazy. That's it. But
Yeah.
take care. I hope. Tell me how it goes. Like, if you ever need any kind of advice or anything, in terms of like podcasting, alam mo, maraming articles, and if you read them, you get better at the craft and understand what this new art form is.
Yeah.
So please say hi to Jeff and tell him it was nice to meet him.
Yes.
Thank
so
you,
much,
Kimmy
Jeff.
more. Oh my gosh, ang hirap. Nakakamiss sabihin yung mga tagline, yung mga
Yun din ang sabi ni
Use
Twitter
your-
name.
Oo, Twitter.
Yeah.
And I remember that was my life before. Like,
Yeah.
At Kankarot says, Knox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At Fortunata de Coco says, yeah.
Yes.
I can be dynamic says. Tony, ano ka ba sa Twitter? Ano ka nga?
Oh my gosh, you forgot me.
Tony,
Yantifian.
Yontefian! Oo, Yontefian. Hindi, kasi ang tagal mo nang
Naku, ako
dinrop
so
kasi
excited.
yun eh. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Tumaas ang konti. Yontefian. Sorry. Okay. Have a great weekend, guys.
You
You
too,
too.
Del.
Thank you, Del.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
so much for
Bye.
spending your time with us.
See you on IG and Eve's podcast.
Yeah.
See you guys. We're going live tomorrow, I think.
Yay! Okay, matutulog ako.
Okay. Good night.
Matutulog ako for that.
Good
Good
night,
night, Del.
Del.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Mwah.
Oh,
Oh my God.
Ang saya ko.
All smiles.
Yes, I
Mas
can't
matagal
believe
to
it.
kaysa nung kay Gino, no? 3
Pero hindi mo
oras.
napapansin kasi ang saya ng
Oo.
usapan. Diba? Ang saya
Yeah.
ng usapan. She's
Pero
she's
sakit
amazing.
ko. Ang sakit na ng puwet ko kakaupo.
Ako nakatatlong may I go out. Pansin nyo
Ang
ba?
sakit mo ng pangatlo, pangiti at tawa.
Ah.
Tapos masakit na rin yung puwet ko. Pero tingin ko, kung si Gino, walang appointment during that
Mga
time.
alas 3. Oo, baka nag-4 na oras
Matagal-tagal
tayo
din.
actually with Gino.
Bilang madaldal tayong lahat.
Correct.
So,
So,
naririnig ko na si Abner, sinasabihan na si Keng na kumain.
Mm-mm.
May orders daw siya 21 kilos.
Wow!
Dami!
Sa seafood.
Uy, ang sarap nung masarap yung, well, syempre, I tried the bangus sisig and the Buffalo wings
Buffalo
and
wings.
Yeah.
honey
Hindi pala
sriracha.
ako naka-order for this weekend ng sisig.
Excuse me. Yeah.
Yung bago niya yung patatim, mas maraming
Oo.
umorder ng patatim.
Tapos ano daw nangyari sa aircon nila? Sabi ni Abner.
Hi,
Linaw
Abner.
eh.
Ang namatay.
Hi.
Linaw eh.
Mas malakas kay Keng. O siya,
Ah,
Keng, mag-lunch ka na. Ikaw, Chay,
Hindi,
dapat
Mor.
natutulog ka na.
Hindi pa ako
Hi,
tutulog.
Kimmy
May email
and
pa akong kailangang isend sa team leads ko.
Ina
Ako,
and
hindi.
Coco and
Nagtatrabaho pa ako
everyone who
after
tuned
nito.
in. Ako may
Salamat
meeting
sa
na
mga
2 p.m.
Russians na nanood today.
Oo,
Kasi-
thank you so much from Norman, Ina, Ernest, Aika,
SPI,
PI, of course, PI, Kimi Moore, who stayed with
Moore.
us from start to
the whole
finish.
time.
Si Erwin, si
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 Ernest.
Erwin,
Erwin.
si Coco
Yeah.
Puffs.
Coco.
A friend of mine who has always been a listener as well ng Morning Rush, classmate ko from college, Jaylene, she said hi a while ago. Si Felix Owen de la Cruz, thank you so much guys for listening
Yun na
and
yung request
watching. Pa ba?
Ayan na si Abner nasa screen. As requested by Ina Ocampo.
Puta.
Butter baby.
Si Chase Summer Sky din, thank you so much for tuning in.
Sa mga galing sa
Um,
Capcom, mga
so-
friends ko na fans ni Nino Alejandro.
Oo nga no.
Yes.
Kumu friends and
Ah.
Wisik
I actually
friends.
forgot to mention to Del that Nino Alejandro actually says hi. They're family friends pala.
Small world.
Message mo na lang si si Del para she knows. So guys,
Yes.
medyo yung mata ko tsaka yung ulo ko sumasakit, nakakatawa, naubusan ako ng oxygen. Shameless plug. Okay, game. Shameless plug. Din.
kaya na
Social
niya yan.
media, Bekititas. Go.
So we have our Facebook page. It's Bekititas Official.
Spoken niya.
We also have
Tahimik niya. Guys, ang tahimik niya. Ano nangyari? Totoo ba to? Bakit ang hindi bigla? Naninibago ko.
we also have our Twitter. It's Bekititas Official.
Tsaka
On IG,
walang lag.
it's Bekititas Official. Teka, natatawa ako.
Pero feeling ko wala pa
Ilagay
rin
mo
siyang
lang.
suot na bra.
Gumulong lang naman kami.
Feeling ko wala pa rin siyang suot na bra kasi timo ang tight shot. Ito lang.
Meron. Meron.
Ako yung wala.
So we also have a Kumu
Ay, wala.
account. Bekititas Official.
Pinapatawa ka
Ayun.
talaga namin. Let's see if we can finish.
Tagal inuorasan ka namin din.
We just wanna plug our personal Kumu account or no?
Okay lang.
I
Yeah,
think
we can also plug our...
Ikaw na
kasi
rin.
gumawa na
Ikaw na
tayo ng
magpaano.
Bekititas.
Kaya mo na yan din.
Oo, kaya mo
We
na lahat
trust
yan.
you.
Kami
We
ni
believe you.
Keng.
Go.
Kami ni Keng pa-plug na lang namin yung
Kumu
business
dyan,
namin.
sa mga may Kumu dyan, you can find us on Kumu as well. Our personal accounts are mine is I Can Be Dynamic, Ate Keng is V Mars, Tony is Yontefian, and Chai, hindi ko alam yung sa'yo.
Chai_Bekititas. Ano ka ba? Ako nga lang may Bekititas sa pangalan sa Kumu eh.
Hoy, si
Ang
si
hirap
Keng.
Si Keng V. Mars eh.
Hindi, ano lang.
Sa Wising ata siya
Nasa
may
ano lang siya,
Bekititas.
nasa parang
Yung profile
siya.
picture.
Sa Wising.
Yun. So,
And meron pa tayong YouTube account, which
Yes.
is Bekititas Official.
guys, pa-subscribe sa
Meron na
YouTube
rin tayong
account.
di ba? Oo, paabutin niyo kami 1,000. Baka magparapol.
Oo, kasi pag umabot kami 1,000, makagpapara. Tsaka we can already get our own our personalized URL when we hit 1,000 subscribers.
That's a cool
So it's not gonna be
thing.
it's not gonna be that difficult anymore to search for us kasi right now what people do is to search Bekititas Official sa YouTube. Once we hit 1,000 subscribers, we would have our youtube.com/Bekititas Official.
Yes.
Oh, that's a cool thing. Help us, guys.
Help us.
Badits,
Naiihi
thank
na ako.
you. Si Badits nakahabol.
Hi,
Si
Badits.
JC
Hoy,
Martinez. Grabe si Dean, rated SPG. Totoo yan. Hindi pa nga SPG, rated R18 yan. Hindi pa nga eh. NC-17 si Dean. Minsan pa
Rated X.
Oy,
nagiging
brush
triple
out
X.
ang pinakita ko.
Triple X pa yan minsan.
oh,
Brush
Lalo
out
na
lang
yung mga
yun.
lalo na yung mga off-air conversations namin. Naku, Diyos ko, Lord.
Hi, Training!
Dwayne,
Hi,
Dwayne.
binabago. Di ba, binabago yung usapan. Hi, Dwayne. Nabago usapan.
uy,
Okay,
guys.
sandali.
Naiihi na ako. Let's go.
Okay, guys, yusin na ako. So, just two more. One is please follow Pastry Playground on Facebook and on Instagram and on Twitter. We sell pastries of all kinds. Check us out. Order from us. It's damn fucking good. Malawa, Keng. Daddy
Yes.
Abners. Go, Keng.
Daddy Abners, sisig and chicken wings at iba pa. Yan. Our
Yeah.
patat
At iba
is
pa.
our bestseller right now. Yeah.
So, hindi po kami sponsored kasi kami rin
Sila
yun.
din yun.
Kami rin yun. Plug lang namin for everyone. But yeah, so that's it
Oh,
for
Spotify.
today. Oh, ha?
Spotify ni Jeff.
Ay, oo, Spotify ni Jeff.
Play niyo po yung single ko. Single.
Yung
Kasi
single
cover
ni-
lang yun actually. Sa Spotify.
Ah.
Catherine
Yun.
Soto.
So,
po yung Spotify.
And Jeff Klein.
Jeff
I am
Klein
Jeff
on
Klein
Spotify.
on Spotify for Jeff. So that's it for the show. I hope everybody enjoyed the show today. I know that a lot of the people who watched this this episode miss Del so much. We missed her too, and that's why we're so grateful for her for having agreed to guest on our show. Who knows, maybe soon yung isang natitira na lang na
Pressure.
pressure. Pero we don't know. Hindi sumasagot as always.
Hindi sumasagot.
Trademark na
Alam mo
yan.
naman, tagal mag-reply yun, di ba?
Alam nyo naman yun, 100 ang messages sa lahat ng mga messengers niya. Minsan lang sumagot. So, we're doing our best. We're doing our best nga, Ina. Kulit. Kinahubad.
Ay,
Hindi,
Des, ano
nag-research
yan?
na ako
Yung
ng
sa
recipe
keto
sa
keme
Kamagay.
yan.
Ay, sakit. Sa
Nag-research
keto
na.
keme.
Sa keto eme yung
Nag-research na siya.
sinasabi.
Oo, may vegan recipes na nga kami. So, anyways, there. Thank you so much for tuning in. Watch out for the audio version of this, and soon enough, it will also be posted on YouTube for everybody's personal consumption. Pero it will be up on Facebook Live as soon as we end this podcast today.
Yay!
So thank you
Thank you, guys.
so much. This, on behalf of Jeff, this has been your Bekititas. I am Chai.
I'm Ken.
I'm Bean.
And this is Tony! Happy weekend, guys! Bye!
Si Dean hindi naging latent nung
Oo.
time. Hindi siya
Congrats,
naglag.
Dean.
Oo, mabilis.
Yes, yan
Very good ka
kanina.
dun. Bye, guys. We love you.
Bye.
Mwah, mwah.
Bye!